the crowd just roar. No reason for tension, Zach is gonna shoot and score. Hyman's in the scoring zone. Right into the scoring zone. Signed for 7 years, now he's playing by McDavid's side. He's got you jumping out of your seat 'cause of that look in his eyes. Hyman's in the scoring zone. He'll take you right into that scoring zone.
6:01 on a Tuesday morning. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing? Dusty and Lieutenant Eric back with you once again. It is the Nielson Show, uninterrupted. Maddie, if you may, crank up my phones.
Can I get a little too?
Oh, two boosts. We got two headphone boosts. Oh, there we go.
It's that Hello Hockey.
That's real.
Crew,
Hello Hockey must have amazing hearing.
Hello Hockey.
All right, they were the last guys in here, and I guess Tommy and Belzy have just amazing hearing. What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Yeah, dude, good. Yeah, a lot of memories made over the weekend, or what? Long weekend for you?
Trying to think. Lots of Actually, it was really good. We surprised my mom because my sisters flew in from Victoria to Calgary, and we couldn't say anything because she always listens to the show.
We all knew.
Yeah,
everybody
knew,
like,
but my mom didn't
knew.
know.
Yeah,
so then
everybody.
Tammy took my mom down to Calgary. They had a good time with my sisters. Then I flew back from Regina to Calgary on Sunday morning. My dad drove down with the kids on Sunday, so we had like a whole Sunday in Calgary, which was pretty fun. Went to the zoo yesterday. Hit that up for just a few hours before we came home. We didn't get there during the summer. It was a perfect day to go to the Calgary Zoo yesterday. Like, it was 21 degrees, beautiful fall day. This weather's uncanny right now. I'm loving it.
Lemurs?
Lots of lemurs.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's I think there's a lemur world or something like that. But Marshall's, we don't need to go. We got lemurs at our zoo. I was like, that's a pretty good point. Like, the only reason you want to go down there is to see the animals that they don't have it at the zoo here. And there's a lot of them. So we didn't want to waste our time
Lemurs,
on the
schmeemers.
lemurs.
Yeah. Everybody's got them.
You only eat so many lemurs, right? So did you have a nice Thanksgiving dinner and stuff?
Yes, it was great. I made a roast.
A roast?
Yeah, pot roast, beef
roast. How did it turn out, buddy?
Center roast. It was great. 4.5, 5 hours, 325.
325.
Fell
Very
apart.
nice.
You looked at it and it fell apart. That's
Didn't
how
even
it
have to
is.
touch it.
Didn't even have to touch it.
God, that does sound real nice,
Melt
doesn't
in your
it?
mouth.
Yeah, that's good. All right, hit us up in the nasty chat. Of course, you can text us, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That is your Paris Jewelers inbox if you're looking to get your hands on the latest Star Wars pendants or engagement rings or actually anything fancy. Yeah, actually, I went to Paris Jewelers to get my mom something for her 60th birthday.
Yeah?
And, I found this great necklace. And it had like a silver kind of heart outside and then that other gold in the middle, and it said Mom on it. And I thought
the Star Wars route. Hey, did you? Yeah.
I didn't go with the Star Wars
Tempting.
route. I was tempted by it, but turns out they got a lot of other great things at Paris Jewelers as well. So if you're looking to buy somebody something special, I say go hit up Paris Jewelers. They're not going to lead you astray. 780-218-9999. When you have been family owned and have 23 locations across the country, that means you're doing something right. And my mom loved it. She loved it. I said, you've never probably really got, because my dad always buys my mom jewelry, right? The kids never buy my mom jewelry. And so that's why I got her something with the little heart in the middle.
It's a good point. And nationwide, I mean, you don't have to be listening here in Edmonton as well. You're listening some other, a Paris Jewelers in your locale.
23 locations across the country, including Saskatoon.
And tell them when you go to some other location on 7, it's Edmonton Sports Talk that sent you.
That's we sent you.
We can make that.
That's what we want to clarify that, right? You got to let people know that the Nielson Show is sending you to these wonderful, wonderful places. If you need a conch this morning, 780-218-9999. Hey, did Eric have some Yorkshire pudding with that delicious roast? That comes in from JBB and the Bing Bing Boys. Did you do the Yorkshire pudding?
No, I didn't. It's good. I just did. It was like potatoes, carrots, that type of thing. Dutch oven, you just slide it.
Put it all in.
Set it and forget it,
That's
as they
good.
say.
I like that.
No Yorkshire pudding, though. No.
I've never really understood the whole, what is a Yorkshire pudding?
Isn't it a dog?
Didn't we go to, I think we had Yorkshire puddings. What's the place that used to be over here and now it's changed again? Was it Finn McCool's or whatever? Anyway, I think I had a. Were we there?
That'd be the place,
I think
guess.
we met there once with Millard or somebody. And is that when we went over with Millard about becoming the hot takes judge? Did we meet at Finn McCool's? Anyway, I think we might have. And I think a Yorkshire pudding, isn't it just some sort of fancy bun? Or is it because there's no pudding actually involved in a Yorkshire pudding, is there?
I think it's like a burnt
Yeah,
bun. Like I'm
yeah.
just envisioning this burnt.
But somehow soft still.
Yeah, very,
It's
very
like
glossy.
a soft,
Yeah.
burnt bun. I think. Clive Getty on the Nasty Chat this morning says, good morning. I am driving up to Prince George, hearing you loud and clear this morning. How about a conch? We got you, buddy. Drive safe, my man. You know, some of these new fancy vehicles, you can actually watch the show on YouTube right on that little screen in the middle of your console.
It's a beautiful thing driving outside of Edmonton to Prince George, and we're coming in probably crystal clear.
Yeah, crystal
and you
clear.
can watch us if you like.
Static free since 23 here at EdmontonSports.com. Tell your friends. Travis is in and says, Bombers, Lions, Gravy Bowl was a classic. We'll get to that. We've got a ton to get to, actually, in the world of sports today. The Edmonton Oilers. Rafael Lavoie clears waivers. What? We'll get into that. Gleason, sit down.
Thank you.
Disastrous.
That's the one.
We'll get into that. The Winnipeg Jets have a couple of guys who, as they say in the biz, secured the bag.
Lock them up.
So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show. Busy weekend in the National Football League. Busy weekend in the Canadian Football League as well. We'll take a look at the top stories from around the Canadian Football League and the current playoff picture there as well. We'll clearly take a rip around the National Football League. If you're watching this morning, let's hammer that thumbs up button. Hey, just hammer it. And if for some reason you watch and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel as well. For those of you who are watching and you figured this out, but you don't necessarily know how to listen yet, Mr. Lean there, Maddie, and myself over the weekend posted a couple of different times how easy it is to add Edmonton Sports Talk to your home screen on both Apple devices and Android devices. And then it's just literally one click and you're listening live. It's actually technically easier than going on to iHeart and finding the station or hopping on TuneIn and finding the station.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to consume the show here, more in the future.
Very
but,
easy. 3 pictures.
very
I like
That's
how
it.
you,
It's like
very.
there's somebody who went to the comments section at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. I got the email last night, so I hopped on. I said, hey, here's the attachment. I said, but here are the easy steps. And he replied, he goes, oh, that was easy. I said, yes. Yes, it's very simple. So tell your friends. In fact, screen cap those 2 little images. Send those to your friends. They will love you. Let's lay out the rest of the show for you. As we decided to start on Thursday, the Nielson Show is now uninterrupted. You will get 3 straight hours of sports talk on your way into work today, or if you're chilling at home. We'll mix in some sports updates with Lieutenant Eric, but outside of that, it's us and you. It's raining west of Hinton this morning. It says Clive was on his way to Prince George. So just a heads up, that rain west of Hinton, what does that turn into when you get to the mountains?
I'm not saying it.
Me neither.
I
still don't see any of the forecasts.
Try to get me.
We're still looking at highs of like 14, 15.
Yeah, get the garbage out of here.
Today's supposed to be what, like 21? Beautiful.
I don't
day.
see any, like it's 2 degrees even overnight. Like you're not.
Yeah. This is, I thought about when I was
Turn
leaving.
your sprinkler on today.
I thought when I was leaving our building here on Thursday, one of the days late last week, I do love fall. I think, whenever you're in a season, with probably the exception of winter, but whenever you're in a season, you're like, oh, this is my favorite season. This is my favorite season. I do think fall is my favorite season.
Why?
Temperature-wise. I like
your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
here.
and I like the look of the orange leaves and stuff. I don't know. Spring is still kind of muddy,
Dusty.
It get a little gross at
Dirty.
times. Summer's too hot for me. Fall is just perfect. Like when you get a plus 21 fall day, there's nothing better. Tell me a better day on the calendar, weather-wise, than like 21 degrees, but there's still that cool crisp in the air on a fall day. If we were drafting weather days, that would probably be first round
And
pick.
I mean, you left out the biggest point, and that is that hockey is back.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, on top of all of that, you get CFL playoffs down the stretch in the Canadian Football League. NFL's firing up. Hockey is back. The association is back. Like it's
There's the fall turn, and then there's the spring turn in sports, right? MLB, spring training, opening day, that type of thing. Football, Canadian football is going to be back.
It's
NFL,
starting up.
you
NHL playoffs.
NHL playoffs. Like there are those 2, the fall and the spring. I understand your point.
I think I kind of
hear the
like
point.
hanging on to these nice days as opposed to just starting the nice days because we know there's so many more nice days coming in the spring. Right now, we're like, oh, fingers crossed.
You also know what's coming, and that was the S word that you failed to mention.
We didn't say it at all.
Yeah.
I haven't said it. You haven't said it. People probably know what we're talking about, but we haven't said it, and we won't say it until that time. Looney Len says, I'll take April 23. And Dan says, plus 30 is the best. Dan, you're sick.
It takes like the date, April 23rd. I love it. Very specific.
With the second overall
around
pick in the
2:20 in the afternoon.
draft of weather days, I'll take April 23rd. Wow, way too early.
Always
Wasn't
perfect.
that high on my list.
Always perfect.
All right, so first hour of the show, let's kind of lay this bad boy out for you. We got to get into Creed saving the Texas Rangers. We'll certainly go there as we work our way through the show. Good, bad, and ugly from the long weekend. We'll go there around 6:30. Just after 7 o'clock this morning, Craig Button is going to pop by. He was in studio with Onright last night. Him and MJ, two of our guys.
Here.
Yeah,
What's he
wouldn't
doing
that
here?
be something? So I unless he got like a red eye home, I'm
Roaming
assuming
around.
he's joining us from the 6 today. So we'll talk about the upcoming disappointment for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously. Your Coolbet hotline of the day. We are betting hockey today, which is exciting. We'll get to that in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll see what Mr. Lean is working on as well. We got to dive into it. The beer name was announced. We'll get into this in hour number 2, probably 2. We did announce the 6 o'clocker lager on Friday's show. The label contest is going to begin this week, so we'll get into that a little bit as we work our way through the show today. Weekly confessions on the way. Fantasy football or life confessions. My confession today, I've got a couple of them, but one of them is something I've never said in my life, and I didn't think I ever would. So we'll get to that around 7:45.
Does this have to do with the weekend? And anything at Memories with Glenn Suter?
No, that was just a good time with a bunch of friends. Nobody tried to kill me. There was no plastic on the floor.
Yeah, a little glass of red I saw. At least one.
I had a couple glasses of red.
Couple.
And then watched little bit of the Bombers-Lions there, but got most of it back in the hotel, and we'll get to that as we work our way through this. Oh, I've also got this today. 5 bold predictions for the upcoming Oilers season. Does
Just
that move
5?
the needle or what?
Only 5.
I've got 5 bold predictions for the upcoming Oilers season.
Thought hockey was back.
Nah, hockey's kind of back. There's 3 games tonight.
tomorrow
Oilers
it's back.
begin tomorrow.
Tomorrow it's back.
Officially back tomorrow. But I've got 5 bold predictions. That's something we're looking for today from you as well. 780-218-9999. Could be how you get in the mix for text of the day today. A&W, $20 gift card. Who wants to get their hands on a little something like that? Go try out those new chicken crunchers, the Nashville Hot Chicken Cruncher, the Chubby Chicken Cruncher, and the BLT Chicken Cruncher. Try those sandwiches today at all A&W locations. People are loving coming in and picking up these gift certificates that we are giving away. But your bold prediction for the Oilers season, for the NHL season, you want to be serious about it, so you can message us in 10 months and go, remember when I said Connor Bedard was going to score exactly 32 goals? I was right.
Are we only taking positive predictions at this point?
All types of predictions.
Really?
All types of predictions. Your bold predictions, Oilers or the rest of the National Hockey League. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat this morning. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. I think I saw Kevin. He was there, Mr. Mike's.
Taking the family out,
With
I
a
think,
gift certificate from the show, I would think. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda coming up. Gager's going to pop by around 8:30 today. He will want to discuss everything from Formula One. Did you see McLaren over the weekend? 1.8 seconds. A new world record for a pit stop. How in the world do you change 4 tires in 1.8 seconds?
It's too hot. It was far too hot.
Yeah.
I couldn't even watch. I was sweating too much.
You were sweating too much.
I turned it off. It was
just
too hot.
watching it. I want to, this is how fast.
See how much Verstappen was sweating?
The sweaty boy.
I've never seen a boy sweat that much.
He's a
Guy was
Max
dripping. He was
Verstappen,
pouring.
the sweaty boy.
The sweatiest.
All right, look at this. This is 1.8 seconds. This is how quickly. Nobody's ever done it faster than McLaren did it. This is how quickly McLaren's team changed 4 tires and got that car back on the road. Ready? Here we go. Done. How do you change 4 tires that quickly? Now, I guess it's a series of guys each changing 1 tire, but that's still insane. 1.8 seconds? Get out of here.
No real room for error, you would argue, in that.
I don't think it can possibly be done any quicker than the 1.8 seconds. Like, I know everybody says, well, I'll never break that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody will ever I don't think it's physically impossible to change tires in less than 1.8 seconds.
Until AI Pitmaster 5000 gets rolled out with the 6 arms. It's one thing. One bot.
Just like
and then
that.
we're done.
What about this? What about teleporting the driver into another car that's already waiting for you? So as they pull in the pits, they just... I would assume with the amount of money they pump into these cars, they got to be close to that
Forward
technology.
thinking, yeah. They're
right? That could be something that you look at.
prototyping it, I'm sure,
yeah.
in the next couple of seasons.
I think so. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. And, of course, Joe in the nasty chat this morning says, bold prediction, Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner win the Williams-Jennings Trophy. Joe, I said bold predictions, not one of the stupidest things I ever heard in my life.
One gets the Williams, the other gets the Jennings.
I just
right down the middle.
I
Cut
don't
it in half,
see Jack Campbell and Stewie Skins combining for the best goals against average in the entire National Hockey League. There's a better chance McLaren changes tires in 1.6 seconds.
I mean, hey, you were looking for bold predictions.
That's very bold. Very bold.
And
But
I
at the
asked,
same time, delusional.
positive or negative?
Mick from Beaumont. I wonder if Micks get really mad when people confuse them with a Mike. Mick says, Oilers will have 55 wins, and Jack Campbell will be our starter and have a .918 save percentage. That's pretty bold.
Bold with that.
I like that.
Lowercase b.
918 should be doable. This is why you brought him in, to drop 918s on you.
Solid. Yeah.
My bold prediction is that Jay Woodcroft will start airdropping his pictures on the TV during player meetings. His photos though, right? Not like Babcock asking for other people's
That's
photos.
the sign of a player's coach.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly. Yeah. How are we looking at this set here? Let's crack a quick pack.
We have 10 pounds of unopened
We got
cards.
so many packs. Look at this. This is our stack of packs today.
Connor Hellebuck
My
on the
goodness.
phone.
We got to almost we got to be getting close on the base. Like you said, it's probably trade season. Hey, like
I can smell it in the air. It's
You can
trade
smell
season.
the trades in
trade
the air.
season is back.
Eric Carlson, Jordan Bennington, that crazy bastard, and Cam Talbot gets a net keeper's card. That surprises me a little bit, but good for Mr. Talbot. Oily Sink is in. Hope you had a great weekend, fellas. And then he sent a GIF. Getting ready for work in the morning, like gonna be late. It's that fat little kid from The Simpsons running around. Got to turn on Edmonton Sports Talk, running back around. Busy guy today. All right, let's get to the National Hockey League because the season is set to open on 3 fronts this evening. Craig Button will join us around 7:05. How about the Winnipeg Jets? Out of nowhere. Did you see Huss's video yesterday?
In the middle of a supermarket, where in like Minnesota or something like that,
Yeah.
in the bakery department or something.
Yeah, and in
he's
produce.
got tears in his eyes. Like the man is weeping.
A part of me, and if you go back and watch it, it almost looks like he does have tears in his eyes.
He is crying. No, he's very emotional.
But the whole thing seems AI-ish to me. Because why in the world would Huss, of all people, be in a produce department at a grocery store in the United States? Right? He said he was in one of the Dakotas. I assume North Dakota. And he was in the produce department. There were bananas behind him. Knowing Huss as well as I do, I don't see that guy hanging out in a lot of produce departments, let alone shooting a video about the Winnipeg Jets in the produce department.
He's going down whatever aisle he likes to go down. He's like, oh, look at this news. I got to find somewhere quiet to go. And then he thought that the produce department, given the fact that he probably doesn't go there a lot, he's like, I should probably check this place out. Maybe it'll be a... And lo and behold, I mean, I didn't see anybody else in the video. It was him and the bananas.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I mean.
maybe a pallet of pumpkins in the background, too.
It looked like you go to one of those AI sites and go, AI person, please give me a video of Huss losing it in a good way by the Winnipeg Jets at a location you would never expect Hustler to be in. And then it just generates this video.
And it was a
of him.
Monday afternoon in the States, which wasn't a holiday to them, so it was just a regular Monday. I mean, you would expect there's a little more foot traffic, given it's mid-afternoon in a grocery store.
Well, everybody's probably getting ready for their dinner at home and stuff, maybe. It might have been at that point, like it would have already passed the grocery store trip.
I don't know. To see nobody?
It was.
That's what he was thinking. I'm sure he doesn't go to the produce department ever, if at all. So he's like, I'll go to somewhere quiet.
But anyway, he was super pumped about it, as was most of
in his
Winnipeg.
eyes.
I do find this interesting. We'll get into it with Craig Button here as well. Is this the move? Is this the Winnipeg Jets? They will continue on with Hellebuyck and Scheifele leading their core. Now, we saw what they did with Dubois. When Dubois went out, they actually turned it into a pretty good deal. Like, Cheveldayoff's done some pretty good work there. I think they call him Chevy in the peg.
Mm-hmm.
Chevy's done some pretty good work there. And I think from a value of these contracts perspective, he's done a pretty good job at it. Like, getting Hellebuyck and Scheifele locked up for less than $9 million on long-term deals, I think is positive. These two guys wanting to commit to Winnipeg, which is still a thing. Like, they want to stay in Winnipeg, which is very meaningful. I understand that. But do you think is this the best thing for the Jets? Or Jets fans, and I know there's a few of you in the Nasty Chat right now, would you have rather turned those guys into huge pieces for the future and kind of reset things a little bit? Now they're going to stay on track, but is that on track just make the playoffs 2 out of every 3 years and do nothing with it during that whole stretch of those guys there? Or are those the pieces? And when you have a goalie like Hellebuyck, if he can get on a heater in the postseason, I mean, the guy can carry a team as far as you can possibly go. I just wonder if this is the right move for the Jets long term, you know?
And time will tell. I personally like it, and I think a few Jets fans in the Nasty Chat this morning did as well, and Huss weeping in a South Dakota produce department. Long anticipated salary cap boom to follow after this season. That's up at tsn.ca. I think if you're going to do something like this with Winnipeg, given that they're kind of arguably tweeners, you know, where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's why I find it curious.
Yeah,
right?
but I think in those two positions with those particular players and, you know, again, going off a potential salary cap increase, I mean, those are two guys that I would just like to see locked up. If you're looking at it like, you know, these were two wingers or two, I don't know, something like that, but a goalie in Connor Hellebuyck, a guy like Mark Scheifele, a leader,
he's your franchise center.
Role, I mean, that, and again, getting the commitment from them in that market, both long-term. I know all the noise around Hellebuyck, and now you can kind of put that somewhat to bed. So I think it's good for the market, and I think just from a fan base as well and where your kind of organization is going, I mean, I don't think there was any appetite to kind of tank there anytime soon, was there?
No, that would be a tough. That's a tough thing to sell in Winnipeg. To be like, hey, be patient, going full rebuild mode here.
And it's easy to sell in certain markets with certain talents on the shelf. But I like this. I think it's good for again, you mentioned the market. I think those two players, especially when you look at kind of the top and kind of Hellebuyck is that foundation, top and bottom, and then a potential salary cap increase, and away you go. You could turn this thing around quicker than some may think. I like it. I don't love it. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's huge for that market to remain as competitive as they have been. The question to me is this how you get to that next step? And I guess having foundational pieces locked in for a reasonable price will go a long way in doing that. Now it's on Chevy to continue to build all the pieces around them. Love what they got in the Dubois trade. Velarde and some of these guys, not give too much away, but I'm doing a hockey draft tonight in person. And Velarde's on my list to get somewhere down the line a little bit, right? I think that's kind of what you want to do. Panner's Pancakes is in and says those are decent contracts, at least for the first 4 seasons. Stan the Jets fan is in and says it is amazing. Go Jets go. And Travis says tough getting stars to sign in Winnipeg. This is a huge dub for the organization, which I think it is. Spruce Grove Chad is in. Spruce Grove Chad, he's a Bombers fan. He's probably a Jets fan as well. We've seen how important goaltending is. Winnipeg had to keep Helly and Scheifele signed at a pretty friendly price. That's in from Spruce Grove Chad today as well. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or in the Nasty Chat as well. Daryl, he's Nasty Chatting this morning. That double signing gave me hope for Leon and Connor.
I ain't touching that at all.
I don't think the city, you should not have hope for it. It should just be expected at that point, right? Anything outside of them both signing long term would be disastrous. So and that's just what you expect, I think. Jets lock down mushy middle finishes for the next 5 years. How about Starrett coming into this nasty
It could be that, or it could be.
Like,
as a few people are suggesting, these guys bring other free agents. Like, that could be it, or it could just be a mushy middle type of Because if you're not winning, you might as well be losing. That's always been my mantra. And
I could see this being over the next 7 years. Hey, Jets made the playoffs 5 times of those 7 years, got to the conference final once on a run, and that's kind of.
And with a
but at the
goaltender
same
like
time,
this,
you remained competitive as opposed to. Because what was it? Huss last week in the lock shop, we were talking about some NHL futures bets. He basically said this season goes one of 2 ways for the Jets. It goes right down the toilet, and they finish in the bottom 7, and the full rebuild is on. Or they end up, remember beginning of last year, like halfway through the year, they were the top team in their division, and then things sort of slowly slipped away. He basically said the Jets could finish anywhere from 5th in the National Hockey League to 27th in the National Hockey League because they really weren't sure what that team was going to be. Now, that's the same group of guys, but if it does slide in the one direction, I guess it's good because you got a couple of guys locked up.
And they're a team like, again, you look at the Blue Jays model right now, and teams kind of limping backwards into the postseason, not much expected. I think this team, too, if they do finish, a 7th, 8th slot or something, it's not a team that's kind of fading into it. It's a team that, Hellebuck, goaltending. Well, you can always do something in the playoffs with a great goaltender, right? So it's not one of those lesser-than teams heading in the postseason. It would be a team that you look like, maybe in a 7th, 8th slot, but a lot of quality throughout the lineup. And, again, starting with the goaltender, that could get you a round or 2.
So a big step for the Winnipeg Jets. I'll ask you this. With the NHL season, with the puck dropping today on the NHL season, are you excited for the return of NHL hockey, or are you excited for the return of the Edmonton Oilers? Right? Like, are you pumped? I mean, Bedard, Crosby tonight, pretty nice setup. I'll be watching that one. But the other 2 matchups tonight I really couldn't care about.
Well, the banner raising, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a guy who's like, hey, let's PVR the Golden Knights game to watch the banner raising. Sorry, I guess I'm just not at that level of fandom anymore.
Although those rings, you got to admit those rings are something else, with the little.
Those rings are pretty cool. You can do so many cool things with rings. You take off that top of that ring. Also, on the inside of the top, it says, "It's nighttime," which is a very cool kind of slogan, in my opinion. And then the rink is right inside the ring, too. It's pretty awesome, actually. RCN is in this morning, 780-218-9999. Both of those guys forced their way out well before those deals are half over. They got their moolah. Ooh.
Well, it doesn't like, let's just be, it doesn't lock them in Winnipeg, right, for that amount of time, right? Like, this isn't.
Well, I can if Winnipeg doesn't want to do anything about it.
If they don't want to do anything about it, but then you're creating a bit of
I really hope Hellebuck and Scheifele didn't use the Jets to get the bag, and then in 3 years are like, oh, by the way, send me somewhere else. I'm done here. I hope that's not how it works.
This is pro sports.
It is. It's a business.
You get the bag.
It's a business. Guys, I'm excited for the return of the electronic ads on the boards. Oh, you're one of those real psychos, eh? That's a good one. I like that. Southside, that's South Sask Jason, who is in today. I have a doubleheader to watch tomorrow night. I can't wait to wake up and sport my Aho jersey. Go Oilers, go Canes. That one in from Jocelyn this morning. And Oil City Dynasty is in to RCN and just says, RCN, boo. So RCN getting booed in the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning, 780-218-9999. We got a huge football discussion to get to as we work our way through the first hour of the show. Good, bad, and ugly from the weekend coming up here before 7 o'clock as well. Let's get to a sports update. Let's dive into a sports update here with Lieutenant Eric. We'll come back and take a look at how about that Bombers-Lions games. We got to talk about the Riders as well. They've lost 5 in a row.
We
have to.
No, we don't.
We have to.
Why are you going to talk about this?
Because I want to know what you think. I see people being like, fire Dickinson right now to save the season. This just in.
Save the season.
That's not saving the season.
Nothing saving the season.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's get to a
Blue Jays fan now.
Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
Jordan Love intercepted 3 times. The Raiders pick up a 17-13 home win over the Packers on this Monday nighter. You can join me Thursday night at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Broncos visit the Chiefs. It'll be another chance for you to qualify into a draw for a trip for 2 to LA, the Century Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. Off the field, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports that Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, he's being placed on the IR, sidelining him for at least 4 games. Ottawa Red Blacks bounced from playoff contention yesterday with a 29-3 loss to Montreal. The Elks will welcome Montreal to town Saturday afternoon to complete the home portion of their schedule. Puck drop in the NHL regular season tonight with 3 games. Tampa hosts Nashville. Blackhawks visit Penguins, while the defending champion Golden Knights host the Seattle Kraken. Oilers will visit Vancouver tomorrow. Oil Kings dropped one to Lethbridge yesterday 5-2. The third of a 6-game homestand will go tomorrow when the Oil Kings host Saskatoon. Major League Baseball divisional round action will continue today. Astros and Twins are tied at a game apiece. Game 3 goes for Minnesota, first pitch 2:07. The Rangers will be relying on the power of Creed once again. They're leading Baltimore 2-0. First pitch from Arlington, 6:03.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Dip with my pride, with my bone and get, what? I don't even want to battle, y'all, no remorse. I switch this game up on y'all, not a matter of choice. My only option for getting rid of haters, standing around watching, the emulators. Stunner, afterburner.
All right, 6:31, Nielson Show uninterrupted. Tell your friends who are driving in their car or listen to classic FM radio and having a bunch of commercials they have to deal with, that all they have to do is go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, click listen live, and we got you covered. You mentioned Creed in there, didn't you?
I did.
Man, what a story.
And you can
Did your Twitter blow up yesterday?
You can stop with the Instagram DMs. I'm getting DMs from social media accounts I never knew I'd signed up for.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you see this? You catch, which I love.
Yeah,
I'm never going to say stop, but today I'm going to say stop. Yeah.
I do like being the one sports show in the entire world that when somebody sees something related to Creed, they think of us.
Yeah.
Which I think goes a long way for everybody involved.
It's not a dog whistle. It's like a bug zapper.
Yeah.
It's
The legacy of Creed Tuesday lives on. Perfect that this story kind of broke on the Monday of a long weekend, leads right into old classic Creed Tuesday here as well. If you're not familiar with the story, the Texas Rangers have been listening to Creed in the clubhouse to really kind of get their team going down the stretch and into the playoffs. I do believe one of their players was saying he would really like Creed to be in the building at some point during this run. This is how I view it. When people send this to us, DMs, mentions, whatever. First of all, I go, do you really think we didn't know about this? And second of all, this doesn't surprise me at all in any way. Like, whenever you need somebody to motivate you, if your answer isn't Scott Stapp and Creed, what are we even doing here?
You've tasted this drug firsthand.
Yes.
You know what it's all about coming. And Marlins did not win yesterday, just to kind of get off the record.
But they made the bloody playoffs.
They made the playoffs. They made the postseason. We had a bit of Marlins, and now the Creed. And it's like you and I going into the old place when you play Creed. And you'd get, that's Monday you'd come in, you'd talk about the weekend. Tuesday, things would start. The Creed would be blaring, and it would get you in the atmosphere. We felt like the Texas Rangers doing those shows.
Do you think the Rangers are listening to Marlins Will Soar? Do they mix in a song that Scott Stapp did for the Marlins? Because it does mention strikeouts, base hits, double plays. I think that would be what they should do is whenever it says Marlins, they just put in Rangers. Have somebody do like a Lieutenant Eric Otto.
The Bruce Bochy,
something along those lines.
Look,
great story though.
Loosens you up. I don't think they're taking it seriously, lyric for lyric, but it's fun time music, I guess. Now is what we've coined it.
I am now officially cheering for the Texas Rangers.
How can you
to
not
win the World Series? Because if they win the World Series, we'll probably get some sort of documentary about this team, and that'll take us inside the locker room to see their top players sitting there singing with arms wide open and Can You Take Me Higher and all those great Creed classics before going out and raking their way to a championship.
And when does Creed, they make it to the World Series? Like, if they make it to the World Series, Creed will be there. Yeah.
When the Rangers make it to the World Series, Scott Stapp will perform. Has to be the case. I'd be very surprised if they don't. I know they've announced the cruise and stuff, but they got to still be looking for a little bit of work.
With the Kelsey Swift relationship, who needs who more here?
Texas Rangers need Creed. Creed will be just fine without the Texas Rangers.
I'm saying,
just like they have been for the last 30 years.
They were doing that boat concert, weren't they, for a while?
No, it's coming up.
Into the World Series.
Is
it coming up?
Yeah, it's a cruise. It's coming up,
up
next in 2024. Come on, man.
Well, I thought, is it a yearly thing or is it?
No, I think it's like a one-off cruise next spring.
I thought it already happened.
Nope, I don't know. I don't think it's happened. I'd be very disappointed if I
Are you
missed
still
it.
planning to go? Is this Edmonton Sports
It's
Talk?
an Edmonton Sports Talk trip. We're going to get there and just lose our minds. If you're watching this morning, you want to chime in the nasty chat, feel free to do so. Let's dive into the Canadian Football League here, boys, as recap the weekend, and a very interesting weekend around the CFL. As of this morning, your playoff picture looks like this. Winnipeg, 24 points, sitting atop the West. BC, after this wild Bombers-Lions game, we'll get into that. BC kind of had to have that one at home. They let it slip away. They sit in second with 22 points. The Riders have lost 5 in a row, have 12 points, and have a monster game on Friday night down in Calgary. I'll be there to call that one. The Stamps pretty much have to have that, or the Riders are in. And then on the other side, Toronto, Montreal, and Hamilton are heading to the playoffs. Hamilton has won 5 of 7. Their only 2 losses were to the Toronto Argos. Bo Levi Mitchell is back, played relatively well in a short stretch in the first quarter. Then Schultz came in and looked terrific as well. And Montreal continues to play relatively well this season. They're 6-3 against the East. 500 team at home, though. But I don't know if I'm Montreal. I want to play the Ticats right
I've
now.
always said in the CFL, I'd love 2 capable quarterbacks. Hamilton's now got 3 by all.
Yeah, well, they love Powell still, too, for the future.
What's going on here? So they're looking good. And again, what a story it would be, again, hosting the Cup. The way the season started with Bo Levi Mitchell's injury, to kind of go all the way to the pits of hell and to come back and be in the conversation now to host a playoff game, make the playoffs, host a playoff game.
Watching the Ticats this week, that takes me back to more anger pre-deadline. They should have traded for a receiver. Like, they've got a couple good, like Godwin's good. Obviously, Tim White's an all-star. He's one of the top 6 receivers in the entire Canadian Football League. But after that, I know Bayless had his 2 first career touchdown catches. Keandre Smith's not bad, but they could have picked up somebody to move the needle.
They could
on the other side.
They'll have to go from within. They got a stud running back to help that offense out. I'm liking what they're doing. And you mentioned Montreal. I mean, I really don't. They'll beat up on teams some weeks.
Yeah.
I find the East playoff picture rather stunning. And I don't think that's a line that we can say most years. When
Do you think
at the
Hamilton
CFL
could
playoffs.
go into Toronto and
Why
beat
not?
the Argos?
It's an Ontario battle, right? The Queen, whatever highway
Yeah.
it's called up there. Why not? I think they've had some outstanding matchups over the years. It's a grudge match. It's a rivalry game. And the way they're cooking right now with not 1, not 2, but 3 quarterbacks, Milanovic bump, like it's all looking good right now for the Ticats.
The Bo Levi Mitchell Schultz duo is a really good combination because Schultz does a lot of things that Bo doesn't do, but can also still be. It's not like you're bringing in Dom Davis or Peacock to go and run a play that, like, Schultz can throw the ball extremely well, right? So real dual threat there. You mix him in with Bo, you could have something cooking there at quarterback for the Ticats. Like I said, they've won 5 of their last 7. The only 2 losses were to the Argos. So we'll see how that sorts itself out. Out here in the West, did you catch the Lions-Bombers game? Did you get
Watch a bit of it. Yep.
You see the end?
Yep.
Man, if you're Rhymes in that situation, should you be thinking, like, he's thinking he's going to score, but he could have caught it, gone down, Sean White comes out, wins it, you're going to have home field advantage in the West Final. Like, that's a major – I have a hard time blaming players when your whole focus all the time is to score a touchdown. To then also think at that time, okay, I got it, let's get down, kick a game-winning field goal. But you would think in the huddle, or if it wasn't, it should have been said in the huddle, hey, guys, if you catch this down the field, get down immediately so Whitey can come out and hammer one home for the win. That was a tough way for that thing to
They're
end.
not all Nick Chubbs, eh? I mean,
well, yeah, but it's just...
But no, I mean, and this is kind of why, I mean, a team such as Winnipeg know how to... injuries, whatever, they always find a way because they know how. They've been doing this now for so long in football terms that they can't lose. They can't lose. And whatever they do, they'll go out there and the other team will take 10,000 penalties or shoot themselves in the foot multiple times, multiple feet, and Winnipeg will still
not being able to finish up third and one,
So Winnipeg has the benefit of kind of getting in these situations as well, and Brady Oliveira, MOP, that flies in all caps lock at the nasty chat. They're
the first time in a long time, I think
they're
you
an
can
older
make a
team.
legitimate case for running back to
that was,
win
and we were kind of having that
we had it last
inner
week,
debate here
discussion,
between us, but...
So can BC go on the road to IG Field in a West Final
I think they can,
beat
but
the
it's going to be
Bombers?
hella difficult.
Adams
and
is going to
given the
have
weather,
to be so on that day, man. Like
you got to play a perfect football game and hope things go in your favor as well in terms of
But-
refereeing and injuries.
and we'll see where
calls
the
and
weather's
all
at.
that. Yeah.
But the Bombers just have such an advantage to control the game in a weather situation with Brady Oliveira as opposed to the Lions with Mizell.
It's too much. And they know, and they've done this before. The fans know what to do. They know
Yeah.
when to come up. They don't need to be told when to.
What would end up being the key in that game, should it happen, it's likely going to happen, can BC's defense turn over the Bombers? And I think they can. Like, the Bombers have been sloppy with the ball at times this year, so that might be the one thing that you'd be looking for in that football
It'll
game.
be a great watch, but that is what the West Final will be. BC visiting Winnipeg, hands down.
Yeah, I don't see Calgary or Saskatchewan all of a sudden rolling out to BC Place and knocking off the BC Lions. The Riders get pumped at home, 38-13. Saw Dolegal in this game. Saw Mason Fine late in this game. Listening on the post game after, there's a lot of discussion about quarterback and stuff. But the bottom line is this team can't play defense. Like, the Riders can't play defense. They've allowed 496 points so far this season. The Edmonton Elks have allowed 437. Saskatchewan has allowed 60 more points defensively than Edmonton has this year, and you know how the season started for Edmonton. So you look on X or Twitter or whatever, and you'll see people say, well, fire Dickinson, save the season. I'm sorry. I mean, you say whatever you want about Dickinson. You're not saving the season. All of a sudden, the Riders aren't going to roll in. And I know they beat BC, and they beat the Bombers in back-to-back games late August, early September. But that secondary is the worst secondary in the Canadian Football League.
Trevor Harris wasn't lighting the world on fire prior to his injury, but there was some sort of control you felt within the offense. And in football, when that's controlled, the defense, then I just think this is a team that's kind of quit on itself. And you can go back to Labor Day Classic between the Roughriders and Bombers and the way in fashion which Jake Dolegala led the Riders to that big win over the Bombers, and people were kissing babies, and he was bending over for Britt Dorden. They were doing the post-game thing, and everybody was crying, and it was great. That was their Grey Cup. That was it. So they won that game. That was the big thing. And ever since then, you've seen a steady. And again, it's no Trevor Harris. It's Jake Dolegala, and then he can throw a deep long bomb and all that. But I think you've seen a defense now that's gotten increasingly frustrated with the lack of the offense being able to move the ball, and specifically when Mason Fine was in at quarterback. And this is just a team that's good. It's disappointing. They had the 2013 Grey Cup reunion. They had the George Reed first game.
And those
since
were all
his
done
passing.
very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
But again, now you're going to run Morrow just because George Reed passed. Like, you're going to make that a story. Like, you got to, like, where's the running game been all season? That's so. There are a lot of things that I.
But still, for
don't
this
need
team
to
to
get
win
into
football
now.
games now, they have to score at least 38 points. Like,
Well, yeah, but
this is the worst defense I've seen
they
in
need
4
to
years.
score points, and then maybe the defense is done. There's a lot of individuals on the defense that, when the team is clicking, they'll play well.
Yeah.
But they're done. They're done with it. So
Do you think they hang on to a playoff spot, or do you think they lose in Calgary on Friday and then all of a sudden?
Well, they could. I don't see anything kind of happening here. It's, again, they went into a season with lame duck coach and a lame duck GM who might be back, but the coach was a lame duck coach. And so everybody kind of knew that. They didn't get the OCs they wanted. They had to settle on a guy. And now you're here.
I'm
Not too
intrigued because
surprised. I'm
I
not
think
surprised.
people like Shivers, and
Could probably be next head coach.
Okay, but it's his defense that sucks the big one right now.
But his defense hasn't sucked the big one, only up until this point when the starting quarterback went down and the offense is slowly. Again, wasn't lighting the world on fire with Trevor Harris, but at least there was some sort of consistency, ball security, and a bit of a plan, I guess you could argue. Maybe not a good one, but there was a plan there. This has just been a steady decline, and the defense says, well, why would we pull away when nobody else is?
So you actually don't mind their defense?
I think you need to make some changes personnel-wise, and probably, but.
I mean, outside of Larry Dean and Dalkey and Robertson and Lanier, and I guess Micah, if you want to get him for another year.
Nah,
like
I don't know.
pretty much, I like C.J. Rivas, but like
They have
Marshall
some guys,
and Moncrief,
Roland
like a
Milligan.
lot of
I
those
mean,
guys.
there's a
Well,
lot of guys in
Milligan,
the secondary I don't mind, but
they missed him. There
are a lot of
this
elder
year.
statesmen
Yeah.
as well and they've had injuries
Yeah.
as well. So it's a lot of things to which we only have a 3-hour show. I don't want to.
Oh, well, it's 5 hours uninterrupted as we continue to discuss the Riders. Any thoughts on Edmonton? I mean, it was tough. They actually, statistically, when you looked at how that game went, time of possession. The Argos, just when the Argos got chances, they just sort of took advantage of it, and that was the end of it. So
they're the best team, and again, but you're looking into the future a bit and seeing a glimpse of what could be. I'm excited now. It's look, Saturday afternoon, Elks Alouettes, the home schedule finale, last chance to tailgate down at Commonwealth. So I'll be down there.
Maddie, were you the guy?
Into it?
Did you tweet? Was that you tweeting about giving Trey Ford a contract right now? Like that's prior. Now, I think he's got another year on like a pretty ridiculously cheap deal. I mean, I don't think there's anything that says you can't just go and all of a sudden give him a new one. But what do you think? Get that done this offseason? Like,
statement.
Come out and just be like, Trey Ford has signed a 3-year contract. He is going to be on every billboard you see all offseason long. What if they don't do something like that, Maddie? Like, do you think they're just completely dropping the ball? Or like, he hasn't played a ton yet. Are you secure enough to drop $400,000 on him a year for the next few years?
Do you want to risk him having a great season next year and him potentially going to free agency or making you pay a little bit more? You probably could get it done a little more. You probably could get it done for a little bit more, but on top of that, I just think that it's the big press conference. You have a big press conference in February, January, whatever it is. You bring the media out and you make a big deal about franchise quarterback locked up long term.
Would you announce a new president at the same thing? No.
That's a separate press conference.
Just to get the buzz. I feel like that would be kind of a big old You're right, different news story, I guess. But wouldn't it be something like, here's the new president, he sits down, he goes, and here's Trey Ford, and here's a 3-year deal, and he's going nowhere.
They keep making announcements.
Like, that's the ultimate. And there's another one. Over and over and over again. So, that's the story from the Canadian Football League. Let's dive into the National Football League yesterday, then we'll get to our good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. I guess not yesterday, but quickly, a couple of days ago now, because it is Tuesday. We'll get into that. Let's talk quickly about the Monday Nighter. I mean... The only thing that I really care about coming out of that football game last night,
the Golden Knights getting recognized on the field.
No,
spectacular.
Once again,
Don't
care about a Golden Knights Stanley Cup tour here prior to the banner raising. We needed over 3.5 field goals, and Carlson hit the upright with how much time was left in that game. I was like, this is it. This is the last shot from 51, and he didn't hit it. And that was an absolute buzzkill. Quickly elsewhere over the weekend, Niners crushed the Cowboys. Niners are the best team in the National Football League, right?
How about them Cowboys, though? Hey, where are we at? I
think the Cowboys are the Cowboys. Like, this Cowboys team is the same as every other Cowboys team ever.
Continuously flirting with success.
No. Cowboys are going to make the playoffs and be eliminated in horrible fashion early on. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. But the Niners look like one of the best regular season teams, at least,
pretty good,
that we've seen in a long, long time. Chiefs got by the Vikings 27-20. The Broncos lost to the Jets at home in Denver. My God, that's going to be a long season there. Joe Burrow finally got it going, 317 yards. 3 touchdowns. Chase was huge day. 15 catch, 192. 3 tutties there as well. The Dolphins rolled over the Giants. The Detroit Lions improved to 4-1, spanking the Panthers.
That's business.
42-24.
That's a business Sunday for you. When the conference is on the line, you just go out there, you take care of business. 42 points.
Outside of the Niners, I think Detroit's second best team in the NFC.
Now,
sorry, Eagles fans.
No, but that's the best part is you asked me about the Niners. That's where the heat is. You guys are still just...
We're just cruising on the radar now.
That's where you want to be.
Cruising on the radar now. Milano, out for the season for the Buffalo Bills. How much does that hurt?
Yeah, well, and then Tre'Davious, that's the thing with them is injuries. And I think your boy Huss was astute on this point about the Jaguars. I think, was he riding with the Jaguars?
We were both on him. Plus 5.5.
I mean, they are England's team, right?
Well, they've been over there for a week. Yeah. The Bills are flying in Thursday, Friday. That was a huge spot play for us against the Bills in that one, and ended up working out relatively well.
How about Belichick getting shut out? Hey, no mention of that. Like shut out, 0.
What happens?
34-0.
What happens?
We didn't even get to Maddie's Ravens.
Nothing happens there.
I
don't think. Divisional game, Ravens Steelers. I mean, take the under and take the dog.
Yeah, but I mean, geez.
3-2 though. Mr. Lean is focused on his leans for hour number 2, I think. All right, let's get into our good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. Lieutenant Eric, where are you going with your good?
I can't get away from those Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup championship rings. The whole bit. You open it up, right? You crack it open. I think a little tune starts playing, ding, 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 and then it shows where all the goals are scored from. Right? It's on the.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Look, I know it's a sour taste in this market's mouth, but credit where credit's due. I love the ring. Give me the ring.
If the Oilers could have won that series, they would be the ones. You open it up, be a little.
Sure.
Rogers place it there, you know?
Or what would you put on an Oilers ring, 780-218-9999? But I'm going with the Vegas Golden Knight ring unveil. I liked it. I wanted to see how depth it went with the detail. Like, hey, that's my dad. Row 5, seat 8. Like,
he's sitting right there.
There he is.
This is incredible.
He's winking at me.
My good from the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see the Oil Kings pumpkin pie eating contest?
I retweeted the. It was something.
Guy Flaming with one of the all-time performances that I've ever seen, and Guy's always up for a good bit. Like he's such a good dude. I honestly don't know if it was a bit, and I don't know, Guy, if you're watching this at some point, and obviously the Pipeline Show, you can listen to it right here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you go to our show pages, you'll find the in the Friends of EST, you'll find the Pipeline Show. Guy Flaming, they have this 3-man pumpkin pie eating contest, and they say, ready, set, go. And the one guy has a fork. The other guy's eating this pumpkin pie with his hands. And Flaming's got on like this full-size bib. Looks like what a monk would wear almost. And then just dives in face first to this pumpkin pie. And the other guys are like eating it, but Guy is just like, he's suffocating.
Glasses and everything. He takes the glasses down with him, and they go into the pie, and they're all in the pie. And
I have to think it's a bit. Because if not, I mean, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You have to go see it. Just go on, like the WHL main account retweeted. Yeah. I'm sure the Oil Kings retweeted. I retweeted it.
I just wonder how much he got down. Like, I just kind of see him moving the pie.
He's just
around.
sort of
He's
like
kind of nestling a little hole in there for himself. But
Guy Flaming,
smashing his head on
face first into an American. That's the Wendy's
That's exactly
girl. Remember?
What I thought of when
yeah. And then after he got up, it was just like, oh, I think I missed a memo. It's just like, come on, man. Please tell me this was a planned bit. Because if not, it was absolutely. It's one of the best things you'll watch from the weekend. Just go online and go to the WHL or one of our Twitters and find it. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's wearing. It's frightening when he gets back up after that. Looks like some sort of mud man, you know? Like
I thought at some point his head was going to stop moving. And they're like, oh, my God, Guy Flaming is suffocated in a pumpkin pie.
There's a bit of that doubt fire going on there, too, eh? Like, hello.
Yeah, when he goes up, hello, who's this? Who is this guy? Oh, it's too good. You got to go watch it. It's amazing. Guy, you're the best, buddy. You're the absolute best. All right, you're bad from the weekend. Where are you going?
I guess a bad would be for all fantasy owners out there with Justin Jefferson on your roster. However, if you're going against him in the next few weeks,
or if you have Jordan Addison.
Yeah, sure. Like now from a door closes, a window opens. But Jordan Jefferson out. He will be out now. What, at least 4 weeks? Justin Jefferson, at least 4 weeks.
At least 4 because he's on IR.
This courtesy Tom Pelissero this morning. So hamstring injury for one Justin Jefferson. At least 4 games missed.
Everybody running like this to get KJ Osborne on the waiver wire.
It's bad. It's not bad for the Vikings because who really cares about them at this point? But it's bad for fantasy owners.
We will. We'll have more on KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison on the Fantasy Football 5 today around 11:45 right here.
But this tells me you're really looking forward to this.
Like the Montgomery Burns. Waiver wire. This is why you save your fab right here. So we'll get into that. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Bumblebee Tuna Boys, Oilers ring would have potholes on the top and a set of ring nuts hanging from it. That one in from Strummy this morning, the Parachuters inbox at 780-218-9999. My bad from the weekend. You see Harper getting doubled up here at the end of the Braves-Phillies game. 1-run game, 5-4, deep shot, great play at the wall, but Harper's already rounded second. He's probably thinking, if he doesn't catch this, he's coming around to score here and tie this ball game. Pretty heads-up play by the defense. Great job covering as that ball came into the infield, grabbed it, got Harper at first. That's still a tough way to go down in a playoff game when, prior to the Braves finally getting the bats going midway through game 2, they were thinking, oh, my, look at the Phillies. Here they go.
This flies in July, hey? Might even get you
Yeah.
beginning of August, not October.
This seems very Blue Jay-ish.
They make shirts for you, right? It's
Yeah.
October. Save October. Win October. Take October. No, you'd hate to see it from a guy like him in any situation like this. But, yeah, baseball playoffs, man, never fail to captivate now that the Jays are out, hey? Does anybody care? Like, you go out this weekend, too. Like, I don't see it on any TV. Like, there's nothing. There's just flat, which it shouldn't be. I mean, there's good teams, good.
Once it gets to the World Series,
Then we'll.
You know what? There's nothing like a good ALCS.
You love the CS.
And an NLCS.
Yeah. You can have your DSs.
I'm a big CS guy.
Yeah.
Have a hard time being convinced to get into a non-Blue Jays DS. But give me a legitimate series. Give me that CS, and we'll be there for you. We'll be there for you.
With the Rangers involved.
All right, ugly from the
Power
weekend.
that Qatari Heat.
Oh, man.
That.
Well, they could go 18 laps on those tires. That was it?
It's just, you were talking about, how you prefer the fall temperatures in the fall season.
I do.
This is a long way away from that. I'd love to see you in a sim with your at-home sim, but with the Qatari Heat as well.
God.
Just in your basement. And
That would be awful.
get you a little sauna tent or something.
Yeah. I lost 31 pounds during the Qatar Grand Prix on my sim in the basement.
Gager's got that idea already in the.
He probably already is. Yeah. But hey, a conch for McLaren.
Sure,
My goodness. Really starting to figure it out, aren't they?
Piastri, at least.
Piastri's a stud.
Yeah.
I want to. You know what it makes me want to do? It makes me want to get one of those. Didn't Hernan have it? Hernan had that McLaren hoodie, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
But I want the dark gray from here down, orange shoulders.
Okay.
I think that would look pretty good.
Christmas is coming.
Put it on the list. That'd be great. My ugly from the weekend, Ross Atkins, not just throwing Schneider under the bus, but saying, "Hey, Schneider, come here. I want you to stand right here. And I want you to look that way. Look over there, Schneider." Then Ross runs, gets in the bus, and drives it right over his manager. As he says, and look, you're hearing conflicting reports on who's saying what in the organization. Just when I think the Jays couldn't actually look any more ridiculous, they go out and look even more ridiculous when they trot Atkins out there and he says, it was Schneider's decision. That's his call in that situation. I'm not even in on the meetings. Like, this guy's not dictating pretty much everything that's going on in that organization. Like, to me, somebody just, and then goes, yeah, Schneider was, so this is one of the worst decisions to yank a pitcher out in a playoff game of all time, regardless of franchise. Schneider comes out and, basically says, we had discussions before the game and this was the plan. Atkins comes out and says, and everybody admits that it was an awful, awful decision. Atkins comes out and says, it was Schneider's call. That's his call, situation. And then says, oh, yeah, and he's coming back. So, how dysfunctional can one organization possibly be? Somebody take ownership of anything that's going on with the Toronto Blue Jays. This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Baseball analytics is a blood sport. It spares no one.
How does analytics turn on the game of baseball? If it wasn't for baseball, analytics wouldn't even be a thing.
Analytics has become fully aware.
If any sport was going to own the analytical decisions, it would be baseball. So it's just awful.
Overthinking?
No thinking.
Overblaming?
No thinking. Overblaming. I just want to see somebody in the organization step up here, or the organization make somebody pay for what we saw with the team this year.
Well, Keegan Matheson doing the Lord's work up at MLB.com, he's taken that, whatever you want to call it, from Ross Atkins, and he's giving you the 10 best just quotes from that. And boy, is it a read.
That would be.
It's a great read. Just the quotes. You don't need to suss through all the other, humming and hawing and all that back and forth. Just the quotes. And it is it's stuff of nightmares. You don't want to read that to a Blue Jays fan, putting them to sleep. I don't know, man.
I didn't like Atkins before that availability. And now I'm completely.
Well, you're heading into an off season now too, where you're just like, what the hell is going on, right? I mean,
how do you trust these guys? Now, this is me. What's today? October 10th. This is me, October 10th, saying, how do you trust this group to continue to build this team in hopes of it being a World Series contender? By the way, they were like World Series top 2 or 3 favorites heading into the season.
I'll give you quote number 4. This is as tough a moment in my career as I has ever had. It's the toughest.
Oh, it's so
this
tough.
is the toughest moment in his career. And quote number 3 on John Schneider will be back. yes. Quote, yes, unquote.
That's it. It didn't even, just a yes
Yes.
quote. That's it. That's all he could come up with.
There's
So
some other
I
good
sit
ones.
here on October 10th and say I have no faith in this team, this organization, being able to turn anything around. However, me on April 10th, can you believe this offseason for the Toronto Blue Jays? I'm putting everything I have on them to win it again. So I'm a sucker. I'm as big a sucker as everybody else.
Alan Roden in AA has been remarkable. Quote, 10.
Oh,
So there's your hope. There's your...
what a sneaky way to be like, look at this guy in AA.
That's who brought him there, eh?
Meanwhile, Manoah, Pearson, the dudes that traded
No,
away.
he has not asked for a trade, and we are focused on solutions with him, end quote, on Manoah. That's,
Manoah.
That's quote number 8.
Wow, there's all these quotes.
You got them all.
Give me all 10 quotes.
You got, okay,
You know,
you
we
got
got all the time in the world.
Quote number 9. Those guys are alternatives. I was mentioning them as alternatives to fill those voids when discussing
guys?
Kermeyer,
Okay,
Chapman, and the rest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What else does he say here? We went to the yes, the tough moment. I was surprised he was coming out. I think you can connect the dots on that one. Look,
Don't give me the rest of the quotes.
it's like he didn't even know this was all happening.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
Keegan phoned him up the next day and said, "Hey, Ross, you might want to be sitting down for this one." And
Atkins is the rest of us going,
well,
can't believe they're bringing him in this situation.
And that's you can tell the guy's been around, those office jobs before. You just kind of walk around fast, looking mad. People assume that you know what you're doing.
That's what it is, right?
Did I?
Oh, anyways, yeah, we're going to transition back to the hockey conversation. Craig Button's coming up here. Let's get to a sports rewind from Lieutenant Eric. I've got my 5 bold predictions for the upcoming Oilers season. You don't want to miss that. We'll be going there in about 20 minutes. Tell your friends that Edmonton Sports Talk is crystal clear. All you got to do is click live online at edmontonsportstalk.com. Sports Rewind with LTE.
Las Vegas Raiders picking up a Monday nighter win, 17-13 over the visiting Packers. You can join me Thursday night at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Broncos visit the Chiefs. There'll be another chance for you to qualify into a draw for a trip for 2 to LA to catch the Rams and Browns. Century Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. Off the field, Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson being placed on the IR. It'll sideline him for at least 4 games. Ottawa Red Blacks bounced from playoff contention yesterday. They lose to Montreal 29-3. The Elks will welcome Montreal to town Saturday afternoon to round out the home portion of their schedule. Puck drop in the NHL regular season tonight, 3 games. Tampa hosts Nashville, Blackhawks visit the Penguins, while the Golden Knights welcome in the Seattle Kraken. The Oilers will begin their regular season tomorrow out in Vancouver. Oil Kings, they dropped one to Lethbridge yesterday, 5-2. The third of a 6-game homestand will go tomorrow when the Oil Kings host Saskatoon. Major League Baseball divisional round action will continue today. Astros and Twins tied at a game apiece. Game 3 from Minnesota, first pitch 2:07. Rangers, they're leading Baltimore 2-0. First pitch from Arlington, 6:03. The Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind, industrial electric motor sales and service. Servicing many industries we rely on daily, from agriculture and aggregates to food processing and industrial manufacturing. Choose expertise, experience, quality. Choose Versal Rewind.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
It is the Nielson Show on a Tuesday morning. Thank you very much for being here. We are in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios. If you're looking for something delicious for lunch today, they've got you covered. At Popeyes, you can go get that classic chicken sandwich, or if you're looking for something extra delicious, they've got the 6-piece and 12-piece sweet and spicy wings, crispy breaded wings, the ghost pepper seasoning and sweet chili sauce. If it sounds like it might be too much, it might be, but it's still delicious.
Give it a shot.
Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. We got text messages rolling in here this morning as well. We'll get into a few of these. Big Dave's actually asking for Button's thoughts on this, and maybe we start there. It says, "Hey fellas, are you going to touch on the NHL being cowards in regards to pride and inclusivity?" See this. What's the story I saw over the weekend? The pride tape is not going to be allowed to be used anymore in warm stuff. I think I mean, part of it doesn't surprise me with the National Hockey League, but at the same time, it's extremely disappointing. We've got a season that's starting tonight, Bedard and Crosby. We'll get into all of that as well. Craig Button today and every single Tuesday throughout the season is brought to you by our great partners over at Pro-Am Sports, your go-to source for the new Oilers Heritage Classic gear, from jerseys and hats to everything in between. They've got you covered. Visit them in store at St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of Yellowhead, or online at proamsports.ca. Mr. Button, good morning. How you doing, sir?
I am good, Dustin. Hello, Lieutenant.
Hey, Craig.
How was Jay Onright's show yesterday?
You know how Jay is. Jay's relaxed. It's a show where Kyle Lawson, who's the producer, lets it unfold. He doesn't script it. He doesn't over-script it. He just lets it unfold. He says, hey, we're going to talk about this, talk. And Jay does a terrific job. It's a lot of fun, and I love working with Mike Johnson. Mike is so sharp and so bright, and it's always good to spend time with Mike talking about hockey.
Mike Johnson, we have him on Fridays. He is excellent, isn't he? Every time we talk to him, like, man, and I love listening to call games. He just seems like he's already really, really good, but he's going to be a fixture on hockey games in Canada for the next 20 years, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he is, and you know why?
Why?
Because of the World Junior Tournament.
Yeah,
that's elevates you in Canada.
Yeah,
it's not doing Toronto Maple Leafs regional games or doing Montreal Canadian regional. It's the World Junior, where there's 5 million people that tune in. You might get, on a good night in Toronto, you might get 600,000. You get 5 million for the World Junior, and Mike, when he took that over last year, it's so important. And when I talked to Mike about it, he's going to get a real good grasp on these young players. It's only going to serve him well when he does the NHL stuff. Now, everything that Mike does is excellent, but the exposure of the World Junior Tournament, I think, just really lets everybody know how bright he is and how good he is in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, World Junior's an absolute monster, obviously, in this country. Hey, let's get to that text that came in earlier about the Pride tape and the National Hockey League continuing to kind of back off. It seemed like they were going to hop in on this, and then they took some criticism. So they've continually kind of brought back what they're doing in relations to the Pride movement throughout pro sports in general, and just wanting to include everybody in the game. How disappointing is this, Craig?
Well, I mean, when you have a motto or a slogan that says hockey is for everyone, and then you say, well, wait a second here, we're not gonna let players use Pride tape, banning it. I mean, listen, in anything that you're going to do, you're going to be faced with criticism. I think the key is to understand what you're being criticized for, and then stand up to it if you believe in it. To me, what by appearances, it feels like the NHL doesn't feel it's worth fighting for, so they don't stand up for it. You know what I would do? I'll tell you what I would do. Like if I was talking to the players, or if I was a player, I'd say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go out on the ice. One player will have pink tape. One player will have green tape. One player will have yellow tape.
Yeah.
One player will have blue tape. One player will have orange tape. That's what and you know what? We're gonna create our own pride. We're going to create our own inclusivity situation, because it doesn't say anything about using one specific color of tape.
Yeah.
And then, let's all go out there together, all with a different tape job that says, hey, you know what? We're supporting things. It's disappointing on the eve of the beginning of the regular season. And hey, you know what? If somebody doesn't want to partake in it, like we've seen with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But to ban it for every player now, basically you're saying, no, you can't do that. Oh, I can't support a cause. Okay. What's going to happen when we have Hockey Fights Cancer Month?
Yeah. Yeah, you can support other causes. You just can't support this one for some reason. Yeah. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's, tough look.
You do know, and we use I don't know because we just don't want to understand it. It's incredibly disappointing, and it's telling.
Yeah, very telling. Craig Button with us here on the Nielson Show this morning. NHL season does begin on the ice tonight, and scheduling-wise, Connor Bedard and Sidney Crosby. This could be quite the fun thing to watch tonight, couldn't it?
Well, isn't it terrific? I mean, 2005, when Connor Bedard was born, was when Sidney Crosby debuted. And, Sidney Crosby is still a full-fledged superstar in this league. And, to hear Sidney, really talk about Connor and to embrace Connor, and Connor grew up loving Sidney. It's just, it's so fitting that you have, this top player, a player that I think is generational, Connor Bedard, against one of the all-time greats in his opening game. I can't think of a better. I really can't think of a better. I guess only because of Sidney's longevity. I guess the second best thing would be Connor Bedard versus Connor McDavid.
Oh, that would be absolutely incredible as well. We'd love to watch that here in Edmonton to open the season. I think that would be great. There's a lot of people talking about what do you expect from Connor Bedard this year. I actually want to flip it. Like, we see what Dubas has done in Pittsburgh. They bring in Erik Karlsson. What do you expect from Sidney Crosby still this season? You just said he's still at this stage of his career, he's still one of the top players in the National Hockey League. Does he have one more special run in him this year, Craig?
Well, until he shows that he's not capable of being at that level, I'm not going to bet against Sidney Crosby. And, last year, I thought when you go back and look at the Pittsburgh Penguins last year, their problem wasn't Crosby or Malkin or Gensel, their problem was deeper down the lineup in their forward group. They were slow and they had no purpose. And, it was kind of like Crosby and that group went out and they established some really positive play. And then those bottom two lines went out and lost it. So there's this constant gain, lose, gain, lose, gain, lose. And Tristan Jarry was hurt. Tristan Jarry is a top-notch goaltender. And when he's missing for any extended period of time, that hurts your goaltending. I think what Kyle Dubas has done, I think that he's solidified the blue line. I think that he's added speed deeper into their forward group, which is going to help everybody. And the addition of Erik Karlsson. Think about Malkin and Crosby. One of them is going to have Karlsson or Letang on the ice with them all the time. That's not a really good scenario to go out against if you're their opponent. And, so I expect the Penguins to be a team that's in the playoffs. I expect them to be a team that can compete. Are they a top tier Stanley Cup contender? No, they're going to have to show that they're capable. But I think they can find their way there. I really do. And Mike Sullivan's a terrific coach.
Craig, just wanted to get your thoughts on what happened, obviously, in Winnipeg over the weekend. 7 years for both Hellebuyck and Scheifele, 59.5, 8.5 AAV for the two of them. Just gazing into your crystal ball, 7 years, what do you kind of see happening here in this market? Obviously, a goaltender like Hellebuyck, Scheifele, I like to kind of see it as Hellebuyck as that kind of foot route. Scheifele's up at the top. Those are two good bookends, I guess, of a true spine on your team. Where do you see this thing going in the 7 years if, in fact, they're both still there by the end of it?
Yeah, well, it's good. And, we always look at this and we look at a player 30 years old. In the case of Mark, he'll be 30. He'll be 31 when the contract kicks in. Hellebuyck will be 30. And I think it just follows that players are going to have a fall off to a certain extent. But when you're going to sign a player and you want to keep a player, term is going to be a big part of that. And I don't think there's any question that it's a legitimate and fair perspective to say, hey, they might fall off. But if you're the Winnipeg Jets, I said this last night on Jay's show, we get too focused in on what it'll look like in 6-7 years. What's it going to look like in year 1 and year 2 and year 3? It's great to look long term, but you also have to look at where your team is at and what you're trying to do. They got some really good. Just a second. Yeah.
Is that the ringtone?
That's the ringtone from my wife. She can get through to me at any point in time. You can't always get what you want, and she's not getting me on the phone. So there you go.
Well done.
Anyway, just to finish, Eric. They put a stake in the ground. I think Hellebuyck and Scheifele put a stake in the ground. Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Winnipeg Jets put a stake in the ground. And I think that, when you look at their capabilities, Hellebuck's an elite goaltender. And I'll finish with this. In 4 years' time, you could re-examine. Maybe there's a situation where you trade them then. Yeah. But I think in the short term that
you better get that, Craig. This is twice now.
No. Yeah. I think what ends up happening is that you got Hellebuyck, who I think will be a good player for a lot of years, and I think that you move on from there.
Craig, do you have to go? Do you have to take that call?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't.
Okay.
My wife is just, she's up and she's home, and she works from home a few days a week. So she's just trying to get a hold of me. I think she got the message.
Well, now that we've kind of gone Nielson's show uninterrupted for 3 straight hours, like with no promo breaks. Usually I text my wife in the morning, but like Thursday, Friday, we were so busy going 3 straight hours. I didn't text her till after the show. Yeah. So I got to start scheduling texts so then they can just send out and I don't miss any key.
Bring her on
key
too,
messages,
Craig. If you
right,
want.
Craig?
Bring her on.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Yeah. You have to do that. Craig Button with us on the show this morning. Edmonton Oilers begin their season tomorrow. There's a lot of hype, obviously, heading into the year with this club. How do you approach that hype train if you're the Oilers, Craig? Do you walk around the league like you're the big boys, or do you try to stay focused day to day? I mean, I think there's benefits to approaching it both ways, but how do you do? When you have McDavid and Draisaitl, the top 2 players in the National Hockey League, you know, I don't mind them coming across as the bully every once in a while.
I don't mind it at all. I think they should do both. I think there should be a real focus on how you want to play to be successful. You know, you think back to the series last year versus Vegas. I mean, I think the last 2 years they have the benefit of the Colorado series. You know, they were competitive. It shows up as a 4-0 series loss. Last year, good series versus Vegas. Take all those things in focus, but walk and carry yourself like you're the team. I mean, when you think about the great Oilers teams of the 1980s and certainly 1990 when they won the Cup again, they walked in the buildings going, okay, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to win and we're going to have fun and, you know, and entertain. And they never doubted themselves. And you go back and you can look back at series where they were playing, they were down in series and they said, we're not doubting ourselves. Don't doubt yourselves if you're the Edmonton Oilers. And, you know, carry yourself with that swagger, carry yourself with the idea that we're going to really zero in and hone in on the things that will help us be successful. And you know, every building you come into, you're coming into it with the best 2 players on the planet. So people are going to be excited about you, and you should be excited about going in there and taking 2 points wherever you're playing, whether it be in Edmonton or on the road.
Do you believe in the learning how to win thing? Like when you lose to the Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row, and we always say it like, oh, you know, they've lost to the champion. It's another step in learning how to win. Or do you just look at a team that has the right gel come playoff time? Like, how much can you actually dive into that?
Well, I think having the right gel come playoff time is important, but you know, when you're trying to win, and I go through this exercise with young players, with players, you know, if you went into a dressing room and you said, who wants to win? All the hands are going to go up. You know, who's ready to pay the price to win? All the hands are going up. It's the third question, and this is where the learning comes in. When you say, who knows what the price is? You can tell people what the price is. Until they go through it and understand what people are willing, what a team is willing to do. Wayne Gretzky talked about it in 1983. He said, here we are, beat by the New York Islanders, and they're walking and they're going, oh, wow, that's what it takes. Yeah. And until you get into it, you can tell players, but until they see it and feel it and understand it, you know, I think that it's imperative that you go through it. If you go through time and you go through history, who's been able to just kind of end up being successful without any type of grind or some painful lessons along the path? It's rare. And I think it's necessary, not because you have to go through it because it's a rite of passage. It's how you learn. It's how you learn what it takes to be a champion. And I think that the Oilers the last 2 years with those playoff series and ultimately Stanley Cup champions helps them. I think that helps them understand, okay, this is where we got to dial in. This is where we got to be focused. And I think they take that into the regular season of knowing we got to be good in this stretch. We know when we're going to get a real competitive game that's going to help us come playoff time.
Craig, as always, man, really appreciate you popping by, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah, you always get what you want.
Thanks a lot, Craig. There you go. That's Craig Button with TSN joining us here for Pro-Am Sports. They've got that Grant Fuhr signing as well, proamsports.in. If you're looking for that Heritage Classic gear, which I do see popping up on a lot of people's shoulders all across the city, they've got you covered there as well. Why don't you go visit them in store, see the Cooks and Boys, St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online at proamsports.ca. If you are listening right now at 780-218-9999, that is where you can get in the Paris Jewelers inbox. I spilt my latte while we had Craig Button on, and the desk is kind of sopping it up a little bit, but we'll get to maybe when
I didn't. What? I can leave. Like I. Can,
well, I was gonna say we could wait until you do an update, then I can leave if you want. Like it's pretty. Yeah.
I should have.
I think there's some paper towel kicking right over here. We'll grab that. No, is there some paper towel on the table there? I think there's some paper towel on the table. 780-218-9999, or you can hit us up in the nasty chat today as well. Pass me that there. Just a little spill. I should have had it closed, I guess.
Craig's wife calling and you.
Yeah. Nathan McKinnon. We got here. That should be enough to stop her up. Classic mix-up. This desk is phenomenal. Look at this. Give me a little bit more there, buddy. And then I'm going to get to my my 5 bold. Well, I don't even know if they're bold predictions. My 5 predictions for the upcoming Oilers season. We're going to get into that.
And this spill would have been a lot worse had Dusty not had his beverage in this nice A&W travel mug here.
If you're going to have a latte,
have
it in an A&W travel mug.
Exactly.
Actually, you're right. It would have been pretty messy.
Can you imagine?
If I didn't have that.
Like it would have been.
Oh, it would have been awful.
Been terrible.
Segment over. VR Montenegro says, you guys need some tactical paper towels. What's that? Is that a thing? Tactical paper towels?
Tactical?
What is that?
Kind of like
that's what I kind of imagine.
Yeah.
We clap like this, and then the paper towel comes down, and we
That'd
grab
be
it and
nice.
wipe things up. But yeah, this desk is just phenomenal. Phenomenal woodworking.
spills.
Yeah, it's great. All right, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat this morning. What are your predictions for the Edmonton Oilers this upcoming season? We're going to get to that. Coolbet hotline of the day. We got to bet the National Hockey League tonight, right? We'll get into that before 7:30 as well. We got confessions coming up just after 7:30 today. What do you need to confess to? I've got something I never thought I would say. I will say it on the show when we get to confessions today for Spectrum Rental. So
You ate a kumquat over the weekend.
no. I've never said that. I probably never will say that. Which one's that? That's not the star fruit, right? They always are on that the end aisle, like the end of the aisle.
Yeah, dragon fruit, star
dragon
fruit.
fruit. Yeah, dragon fruit, star
it's more
fruit,
of like an orange
kumquat,
tangerine, I guess.
Is that what it is?
Kind of citrus.
All right. Are you ready for my predictions on the oil here?
Yes.
Okay.
5.
I don't even necessarily. I don't know. Do I deem these bold, or these are just, I guess,
Have you
things?
ranked them? Is there one that's more important than the other?
No,
they're all just
they're not ranked. They're not ranked. You could rank them if you want.
No slow and veil.
If you have your own. No, we don't even have to drum roll this thing.
Okay. Oh, wow.
You know, season starts tomorrow. Here's 5 things that I think could possibly happen this season.
Off the cuff here.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay.
I think that's okay.
Quite bold of you.
If you have predictions, the way I'm delivering these is the bold part.
That is. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, this is what I think is going to happen. You can lock it in right now.
Big, yeah.
No, I'm just going to 5 chill things to discuss prior to the season starting. If you have your own chill predictions, hit us up in the nasty chat today. Number 1, Jack Campbell. Got to have a Jack Campbell. Like, if you're going to do a bunch of predictions, you got to have a Jack Campbell
Start
prediction.
from the crease and work your way out, maybe. Hey,
yeah, this is going to be that Luke Leia thing. All right, sit back. Live your best life.
And that's it. Just Jack Campbell.
That's it.
Now into number 4.
The prediction's just Jack Campbell. No, the prediction is this.
I think people would take that.
Jack Campbell wins more games than Stuart Skinner this upcoming season. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give the prediction.
Winning
you
percentage?
rank the boldness.
Oh, okay.
You rank the boldness.
Campbell over.
Jack Campbell will have more wins than Stuart Skinner this year.
More starts, too?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying wins.
Okay.
Jack Campbell will have more wins than Stuart Skinner this year on a level of 1 to 10, with 1 being not bold at all and 10 being the boldest. Where does that one come in?
Well, I'd like to hear the rest.
I
mean, okay, that's started off at 5. I guess.
Okay,
if he's getting the starts,
not
if he's getting
not bold enough for
he's
you.
your 1A.
Yep.
I mean,
all right, no, that's
6,
okay. Let me try to come up. I'm trying to get something that you think is 10 bold.
I know. I got it.
The Edmonton Oilers will have 6 25-goal scores this season. On a scale of 1 to 10, from a boldness prediction, I think they had 4 last year.
It's 4 last year, so I mean, it's top 6. He's improvement there. 6. How many on the blue line?
6 guys.
Six?
None. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bold is 6 25-plus goal scorers?
6 25-plus goal scorers. I'm going to say. I'll give it another. No, I'll give it a 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. That might be the
Getting
boldest
up there,
one.
right?
I mean, play along in the nasty chat. How bold are my predictions? And at 780-218-9999.
Somebody's giving that an 8.
It's going to be tough, I think, for 6 guys to bury 25. McDavid, Draisaitl, done. Hyman, done. Nuge, probably.
Connor Brown, obviously.
Kane, if he can stay healthy, yes. Connor Brown, I guess we'll find out.
Well, yeah.
He's not going to get any power play time. I think that's going to be tough. So that's why I think, to be honest with you, I think you should. Let's see here. Rick says 9.7. Chris says 7. 5, 8. I don't know. I think
at 5.
I think it's
I'm
pretty bold.
confident.
I think 6.25
7. I think
plus.
7's a nice middle ground there.
I think 7 might be as high as you go on this thing. Oh, this is a good one. I think Dylan Holloway is in the top 6 for opening night of the playoffs. Dun, 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 dun. On a scale of 1 to 10 in boldiness, where does Dylan Holloway in your top 6 opening night of the playoffs rank?
Due to performance or injury? Because that's damn you. Give me an 8.
Yes, I knew it. All right, we're cooking now.
Climbing. 6,
we're
7,
cooking
8.
now.
Okay,
all right.
What do you got now?
Okay, we're cooking now. All right, here we go. Bold prediction number 4. Just how bold is it? The first round pick will be traded at the deadline. Da-da-da-da.
That's like a 2.
Oh, man.
Right? No?
I should have saved that one, maybe.
Is it a 1?
You think it's a nothing?
I'm not giving anything a 0. There will be no 10s and no 0s on this.
Because
I
a prediction's a prediction.
Yeah, there's always like the leaning game, right? But yeah, I'm gonna say like a 1 or a 2. A 2.
A 2.
First round pick traded by deadline. Yeah, 2.
Okay. That's 2. All right. And let's go with here's
You gotta put the tongue in your cheek too.
this one, if it's not a 10, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not out of here. I'm not done, but I'm done in the bold prediction game.
We've got 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Darnell Nurse finishes top 10 in Norris Trophy voting. Give it to me.
If you're
Give it to me.
top 10.
Top 10 in Norris Trophy voting. Remember, this would be with nobody in Edmonton giving him a vote because everybody's
he could
always
be
super
the
critical.
9th spot or
But
the 10th.
I'm
right? He
looking
could be
at
as low as the 10th.
It's going to be tough because Bouchard's going to be the point guy, but a real nice regular season from Darnell Nurse gets him the love that he needs once again. Now I'm going to sneeze.
It's pretty bold. That's very bold.
I think I'm allergic to the boldiness.
You're bold there. I'll give it a 10.
Has to be a 10.
That's a 10.
Has to be a
Somebody's calling
10.
for an 11.
Look,
Chris Max wants a 13 on that one. 10s.
I can't lie to you guys. That wasn't actually one of the things on my list. But I wanted something to hit
You wanted
10.
a 10.
So I said Darnell Nurse to be top 10 in Norris. My other one was actually just Bouchard's going to score 18 goals.
If they want to win the cup, though, that's a guy that making the money should be.
I just
I'm trying to
don't
make an
know
argument
if
there.
even if Nurse has a great
It's
season,
not happening.
is he going to finish top 10 in Norris Trophy voting when Bouchard as a defenseman has 65 or 70 points and Ekholm's your most important shutdown guy?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be pretty difficult to get to. But I also think it's nice to actually have some positivity around the guy heading into the season.
As you should.
And if he does for some reason have a phenomenal year,
You can lock
then
this in.
we can go back and say
October
Dusty
10.
said it.
October 10.
It was a 10 out of 10
It was a 10 bold.
on
yeah.
the bold take thing. So that's a good way to look at it.
Hashtag Nurse for Norris. Yeah, well, you started it here, and we'll
Lance
we'll
says
continue.
Nuge for Selke. Let's stop with the ridiculous predictions here.
Give it a 4.
That's just crazy. All right, we got your Coolbet hotline of the day coming up, and guess what we're doing? We are betting hockey tonight.
It's back.
How exciting is this?
Hockey's back.
It is back. We're also going to get to your weekly confessions. What do you need to get off your chest today? Fantasy football confessions, life confessions, work confessions, relationship confessions, Oilers season starting confessions. Has somebody bought like 3 new Heritage Classic jerseys and are hiding 2 of them from their significant other?
You can tell us.
I could say we're here
we
for
won't
you.
Tell.
We're here for you. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you got bold predictions of your own, let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
NFL Monday Nighters saw Jordan Love picked off 3 times as the Raiders beat the Packers 17-13. Off the field, Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson, he's being placed on the IR. It'll sideline him for at least the next 4 games. The Ottawa Redblacks bounced from playoff contention yesterday. They fall 29-3 to the Alouettes. Elks will welcome in Montreal Saturday afternoon to round out the home portion of their schedule. Puck drop in the NHL regular season tonight. 3 games on the docket. Tampa hosts Nashville. Chicago visit the Penguins, while the defending champion Golden Knights will host Seattle. The Oilers are out in Vancouver to do battle with the Canucks tomorrow night. Oil Kings dropped one to Lethbridge yesterday 5-2. Third of a 6-game homestand will go tomorrow when the Oil Kings host Saskatoon. Major League Baseball divisional round action will continue today. Astros and Twins are tied at a game apiece. Game 3 goes from Minnesota. First pitch 2:07, while later this evening out in Arlington, it's the Rangers and Orioles, with Texas leading 2-0.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
$7:31. It is the Nielson Show, uninterrupted. Hey, commercials. Can't sit here. From the Forrest Gump line. Us to uninterrupted sports talk.
You're gonna live with me now. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you. Oh, I love you, John. Oh, I love you, John.
You realize how close we are to possibly a Wednesday night Oilers win and a bunch of goal songs on Thursday? Hello.
I wanted that Gleason, Lavoie, Bakersfield.
That's what you were
Condors
hoping
type
for,
of
yeah.
Stack there with the.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean,
Gonna come live with us now.
On Rafael Lavoie, I can't remember who summed it up. Somebody summed it up on Twitter extremely well over the weekend. I wish I knew who it was so I could give them credit.
Where were you during Waivergate there when the news dropped that?
I was spending time with my family, and I really didn't care. I did tweet out, what do you think of these guys on waivers? And obviously there's it ended up being with Rafael Lavoie what we all thought prior to training camp would be with Rafael Lavoie, in that he would clear waivers because every other team in the National Hockey League already has their own Rafael Lavoies that they might not have room for or focus on a different thing right now. Does Rafael Lavoie end up coming in and playing games during the season for the Edmonton Oilers? I would think that probably is the case. This Niemelainen injury is kind of muddying the waters right now with how this lineup is going to look come opening night, with Adam Ernie still kind of lurking around right now. But who had it wasn't even like a hot take, but basically, Rafael Lavoie, he had a good preseason. He didn't have a great preseason. He had a good preseason. He certainly didn't have a bad or underwhelming preseason. But I think, a lot of the Oilers fan base, maybe ourselves included a little bit, were overrating what that preseason meant for Rafael Lavoie. Like, he would have obviously had to have done a lot more to get locked in, or we'll see how things sort out once they finally finalize this roster, and maybe there's a plan to have him back in the mix here somewhere along the way.
And as you mentioned, too, you look around the league, and teams do have, these guys are a similarity in their system and everything, so it's not just, the Oilers putting guys on waivers, the only team in the league.
Yeah.
And he's the only player of some sort of skill or size or whatever you want to call it, so there's that as well. And, yeah, maybe a little local bias here sometimes with some of the players, but This is where the team is at right now. We've talked about a window to win, and this is it. And clearly, Ken Holland, wants guys who can play a full 80-some game schedule, right? That was the whole quote. So they go, enjoy Bakersfield, and we'll see you soon.
Lance,
it's the Gleason stuff that really rocked me. I know everybody's Lavoie this, Lavoie that. It's
just tough for you to, yeah.
It's tough.
Lance in the Nasty Chat says a big brain move by Holland would be trading Niemelainen today for a fourth line center. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath for something to be.
Drop the puck down.
Yeah.
Just let's get a game
yeah,
going here.
let's just kind of see.
This is not what you need to be
where
talking
this
about
is,
when you're
yeah.
thinking of trading your first-round pick at the deadline here.
All right, we'll get to more of your text messages. Confessions coming up here as well. But let's get into our Coolbet hotline of the day. If you're not betting with Coolbet, what are you even doing here? Coolbet.com. Use the code LOCKSHOP when you do sign up, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. So you deposit $150, you get a bonus $150, $300 be sitting in your account, and you can get in there and bet on the National Hockey League tonight. 3 games on tap in the NHL tonight: Nashville Predators, Tampa Bay Lightning, Chicago Blackhawks, Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Seattle Kraken versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Do we got to get in some Bedard action? I feel like we have to get in some Bedard action. If you actually go, and I don't know if I've ever seen this with the way that the NHL lines are set up, but if you go to the Blackhawks Penguins, or you go to the main NHL page, you'll see a little sort of separate bet right at the bottom. You can just hop on quickly. Connor Bedard to score a goal tonight in his NHL debut at plus 195 to ride with, I think they call him Bedsy, to ride with Bedsy to score tonight at plus 190. Well, I mean, what else are they going to call him? Bedardsy?
I'd go with Bedard.
Konzi?
I think you start making a mockery of these nicknames using the full last
We've been
name.
trying to
some of those
mock
old
these
European
nicknames
guys,
for years.
like, Antropovsky.
Antropovsky. Oh, man, my buddy Antropovsky.
We need to start just add the C right on the end of it. Don't
Yeah.
shorten it at all. But you're riding with the kid, hey?
I
Drop regular season.
I think you
Go
probably
with the kid.
have to ride with the kid here in this
Konzi.
situation. I might wait till player points pop up a little bit later on and hop on the player points as well. But it's Connor Bedard. I don't know if I would describe him as the same type of generational talent that Connor McDavid is. But I will say this about these types of players. Special players step up in special moments and do special things, right? Sidney Crosby at the Olympics, he wasn't great in 2010, but what did he do? Scored one of the biggest goals in Canadian hockey history because special players do special things.
I think it's big-time players, big-time moments, big-time games.
It's exactly what it is.
And big-time games, big-time it's something.
No, it's dressed well, big-time game, big-time moment.
No fast food.
No fast food.
No fast food, dress well, big-time games.
So let's just get on. Let's just ride with the popular play of the day here. Your Coolbet hotline of the day. Are you okay with this? Connor Bedard to score a goal tonight?
Let's go.
I think then you got something invested in it, right?
Regina Pats represent.
Connor Bedard to score tonight, plus 195 in his NHL debut. Who's riding with us? Let us know. Connor Bedard to score, plus 195. That is your Coolbet hotline of the day. Has Mr. Lean been working on anything today?
He's got a Carlson prop coming up here.
That was literally what I was looking at. The Connor Bedard plus 185 to score.
You were looking at, so your lean was to get in on Bedard as well. Is there no soccer today?
No, the international window's opening up, so they're all to their national teams. And
how long does this international window go for?
Too long, if you ask me.
They'll be back week and a half. They'll play this
10 days.
They'll head back to their clubs later this week. Canada has a match on Friday, a friendly against Japan. So our boys are back together.
So you have a lean on Friday for that? Probably.
No. That'd be a tough one to lean on.
Really?
New manager, don't know how interim manager, don't know how they're going to perform under him.
Lean against them.
Never.
They would never lean against them.
Never against
Might fade
Canada.
him, but you're going to lean against him.
All right, so Mr. Lean and the boys here, we are on the Coolbet hotline of the day. Connor Bedard to score at plus 195. Menopause Nick says, I think Bedard is going to be more like Patrick Kane than a Connor McDavid. Well, that would still be a good thing because that would mean he's delivering championships to Chicago, which McDavid hasn't done just yet in Edmonton, but I think it's probably just around the corner. With that being said, Bedard has a much better shot than Patty Kane, and I would think Bedard's more of a goal scorer than Patrick Kane was. However, I do see a lot of people loving when Menopause slides into the nasty chat.
Can't get enough.
Hey, Menopause can't believe you're here. This is absolutely incredible. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. If you would like to text us this morning, if you are listening live as you get ready for the Edmonton Oilers to begin their season tomorrow night, they will be in action. We will have your orange and blue breakfast. First orange and blue breakfast tomorrow morning to get you set for the Oilers in their opening game on the road. You can text us right now, though. Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers, Canadian and family-owned with 23 locations across Canada, including one at the West Edmonton Mall, which is where I went to over the weekend to get my mumsy a little gift for her 60th
I did too.
birthday.
I walked past the location.
Did you? Oh, you saw it at the mall too. So you were at the mall over the weekend too?
Yeah.
What?
That was wild.
What do you go there for?
Just just to kind of
Just to walk around a bit.
scope out, see if there was any deals, that type of thing.
Oh, you went shopping.
Well, not shopping. A few treats here or there.
Do you ever?
When Jess Jackson's birthday yesterday, so we had to kind of.
Oh, a nice surprise. Do you ever just go to the mall to shop? Like you don't like have like whenever I go anywhere now, it's like I gotta go get this. I gotta go get this. Like I never would go to the mall just to shop.
I'll do you one better. I've gone there just to walk.
Just to walk.
Well, because I live so close, so I can go across the street. There's a few bars I can go for a drink, and then I can
just have a little walk.
Yeah, and then not during like regular business hours. I'm talking like 10 p.m. when the mall's kind of closed and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. That's the time to go.
Like my wife, my mom, and my sisters in Calgary on set, they just went shopping.
Shopping spree.
They went like for 4 or 5 hours, 3 different malls.
Hanging off the forearms. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
as you do.
So you just go and you just walk in. You're like, oh, I don't need anything, but we're just going shopping. I can't. I just can't do that.
Well, they call it the retail therapy.
I guess
Sometimes, hey.
I did buy 4 pairs of shoes on Saturday.
And how you feel?
Well, I felt ridiculous.
But-
Why would you buy 4 pairs of shoes?
You're-
But it was a sale on at
Well?
while I was down in Calgary. Went to that Cross Irons, the big
Is that
one.
what it is? Yeah.
And there's a Skechers superstore there.
Skechers
And it was buy one, get one 50% off. So my wife was like, well, you know what you should do? I got a bunch of garbage shoes. She's like, throw out a bunch of
Buy
your old
more.
shoes and reload. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not buying 4 pairs of shoes at one time. I usually buy like 1 pair, wear the hell out of them for 2.5 months and maybe longer if they hold up. Actually, I had a pair of Skechers that like everybody has. I've worn for like 2.5 years. She's like, you got to get. So I basically rebought the same pair. Then I got a pair of dress Skechers that my good friend Suits has. So I bought the same shoes that Suits has because we're super tight. Then I got like some winter Sketcher boots and something else. So I guess maybe I do go shop.
You're all sketched out there, hey?
Oh, yeah. No, I love
you
Skechers.
go.
They
Hey,
got
I
that.
went down to
I think
Calgary
I'm
the
wearing
weekend. Where'd you go?
Skechers
I went to
right now.
Skechers. I got 10 pairs of Skechers shoes from that.
Skechers right now. Right here. This is that foam. That is it the memory foam or something foam?
Now, is that the dress shoe or the all-purpose Sketcher?
No,
Are
this
they-
is just a slip-on in the summer type of Sketcher. My dad almost has the same ones. They're very similar.
You're a Sketcher clan, your family.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I.
Not
that's
an
how
Adidas in the house.
So
eh?
I
No
basically
Fila.
bought 3 years worth of shoes over the
Yeah.
weekend.
As you say, garbage, and they'll turn into garbage. Your like the Skechers are garbage. Now you
some
buy
of the
new
shoes
garbage.
I've got still kicking around the house. It's time to give up on them. Like it's time to go.
They don't hold
them.
up, do they? Or they
Well,
you're kind
They
of
lasted for a few years.
Few years. Yeah.
But yeah.
Have to do another trip down there and
We're
load
gonna
up
ha-
again.
we're gonna
Garbage
have
bag
to,
full
yeah.
of Skechers.
All right. So that wasn't supposed to be my confession, but
No.
anyway, I did some shoe shopping over the weekend, which I don't usually like to do. But let's get into weekly confessions. Brought to you by Spectrum Rental, where they confess that sometimes bringing home an auger and randomly drilling holes to look busy to their wives. www.spectrumrental.com. So you get an auger, you go out into a yard or some other place where you would aug, and you just aug away, and your wife looks out the back window or whatever and goes, oh, look at that. He's super busy out there. And you're just drilling random holes and filling them back up, putting the sod back on, then going to do another one.
And this is eerily similar to my confession from over the weekend.
What? Really?
Well,
oh, yeah, because you guys did do a bunch of yard work this
just a
weekend.
role reversal.
Yeah.
I had the old. We did the backyard Saturday.
Okay. Is this your confession?
It's my confession.
Brought to you by Spectrum Rental.
Actually, we did it Sunday because it was a long weekend, so I got my Sunday. So Sunday, ready to go. It's morning time. I'm like, well, I go to my wife, and I go, ready to hit it? She's like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, you go out there first and start, and then I'll meet you out there. So she went out and started, and she can't resist. Once she starts, she has to get going at it. And I was still inside at this point, sipping on a coffee, and I did the Luke thing where I went, and I remember at one point I looked out the kitchen window in the backyard, and she's tearing down we have these hops, and they go over everything, and they're just all over the place. She's tearing them down. And I was like, yep. I successfully, my plan, because that's you go out there. I'll meet you out there.
No, you didn't.
I'm right behind you.
I do this all the time.
I must have got out there, 45 minutes later?
45 minutes?
Who's keeping track?
What?
She's working. Time is of no, once you're out there working, you're not looking at the clock, so she really doesn't know.
But it also doesn't take you as long as you originally thought. She probably got a lot done in 45 minutes.
Oh, she did. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't plan to be 45 minutes. I planned to be 10, but then, things happen, and you're dawdling at that point. So I guess the confession would be I unintentionally let my wife do a majority of the yard work over the weekend, and I feel great.
I didn't think you'd be greasy like that. This sounds like something that I would do on a regular basis. Not you.
I didn't intentionally set out, but after the day,
So were you weren't just having a coffee and
chipped in.
watching her, were you?
Well, at one point I was. I was standing in the kitchen as you do, and you're looking out, and she's working away, sweating, and I'm like,
But she probably enjoys it.
she does,
Right? Let her
So I don't
enjoy
feel that
herself.
bad. And that's what I was. I was like, go on.
Yeah.
I don't want to rob you of all this joy of cutting down all of these hops that have.
She wouldn't have
taken
had
over
as
the
much
backyard.
fun if you went out and did half the work.
Not nearly. So, no, you're right. Thank you for kind of that's a good way of looking at it. But it's a hell of a game plan, though. And I'm going to institute this more. I look for this now, shoveling snow, that type of thing. Oh, yeah, get out there. I'll meet you. I'm right behind you.
780.
Who's to say how far behind, right?
780 218-9999, 780-218-9999 if you have a confession of your own.
I took her out for lunch afterwards.
Oh, well, and why didn't you say that at the beginning? Did you go to Bubba Gump? Because you're at the mall?
We went last weekend. We got
Yeah, that's right. I like back-to-back weekends.
Hey,
Okay, so I have two. One, I scored less than 50 points in one of my fantasy leagues this week, which I'm not sure has happened to me over the last 4 years. It was in the league I'm in with Maddie. Richardson got hurt. Jones was listed as a late out. It was really a disaster. My three receivers were Brandon Ayuk, CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin. They each had 6 points. Kyle Pitts has to be the biggest disappointment in the history of the tight end position, although it might be getting a little bit better. John Robinson didn't do much. It was a disaster. I'm embarrassed. It's not even a confession. It's an embarrassment. And now I'm 1-4 in that league. I think it might be time to sell out.
Whoa,
sell off.
That's
I'm
the
1-4
story.
in the Rusty
That's
Truck.
the story
This
here.
has been a dominating franchise for years.
Bad week, bad
And
season.
I'm 1-4 right now. So I might be opening the doors for business. CeeDee Lamb, John Robinson, probably the only untouchables. Aaron Jones, see you later. Amari Cooper, you're done. If I can pawn off Deshaun Watson on somebody, take him too. Brandon Ayuk, see you later. Now, Jordan Addison I might hang on to because we'll see what happens with him there. But that was really bad. Then this. So I don't think I've ever said this, but I'm going to drop it right here on Confessions. Last night, I had a Donaire that I didn't like. I have pretty much liked every Donaire as long as it doesn't have tomatoes or lettuce in it.
You tried making your own.
No,
You flew.
I ordered. But I didn't go to my go-to, Fire Zone. I don't know if they were closed later last night because of Thanksgiving or whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't pop up and skip the dishes. So I went to just one of the 3 places that popped up and skipped the dishes. I'm not naming names because I'm not out here to throw Donaire shade at anybody.
I
That's
get
the
it.
last thing I want. But I ordered from a place I'd never ordered from last night. First Donaire, and this is I have one Donaire every 2 months. Because I can't be
family man.
pumping
It's-
Donairs into
yeah,
my body.
yeah.
We're not having them for dinner. So last night the kids were in bed. We just got back from Calgary. They had already eaten. After they went to bed, I was like, I might just order a Donaire, sit down and watch the new episode of Quantum Leap, which is back for
Yeah, nice
season
little
2.
night there.
So
Happy Thanksgiving.
I had this huge plan. I was going to sit down, watch Quantum Leap. I usually, whenever I have the TV on, I'm usually doing work. And I said to Tam, you know what I'm going to do? Phone's going to be down. Computer's going to be off.
Down. Wow.
Yeah, phone's down. I don't know. I still
This is a
Quantum
commitment
Leap.
now.
It's not the original Quantum Leap, but
Yeah,
I
but-
still love it. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch Quantum Leap. I'm gonna have a Donaire. I'm gonna live my best life for 60 minutes. So this Donaire rolls in, and I could tell right away, like it wasn't super round. It was almost like it had been pressed, and it was like little. It was like.
Do you like him pressed though? Do you?
No.
You'll take. Okay.
No, thank you for asking. So I go down. I'm already worried.
So you
I see
know.
that it's not like full round. I'm like, what are we getting into here? So I go down and wrap it. The sauce wasn't your typical sweet sauce. It was like a Donaire sauce that they have.
Garlicky type of.
I don't know. It was too thick. It was too thick. Like the sauce was too thick.
like a cream.
The sauce was too thick, and the meat, it didn't hit. And I went back up to Tam, and not that she gives two hoots about anything I do, but I went back up and I said, well, cross that place off the list. First time I've ever said that in my entire life. I had a Donaire that I did not like last
One
night.
bite? Was this one?
No,
bite
I ate
thing?
the whole thing.
No, but like after you made that declaration, like you had a bite, or did you finish?
No, I
the
knew
whole
right
thing
away.
and then you
I
went
knew
up?
right away.
Okay.
Like a bit in, it just seemed like, I don't know if the meat was thin slice enough.
Well, may I ask, do you prefer it the thin, or was this like the chunkier kind of more?
It was
cube?
kind of like an in-betweener. And I say, choose one. Right? I prefer the like thinly
Thin
sliced.
shaved, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I want, that shaver machine.
Yeah.
Right? The cutting guys.
I think most would.
I mean, good on you, but I like the shaver machine. And I don't know, man. It was really bad when, I have one Donaire every 2 months, and I had this big plan to watch my favorite show, and the Donaire was the part that let me down.
Cheese game? Like, was there?
Cheese game was the only
Is there
thing.
anything you're picking off of there?
Like, there's two things here. The cheese game was pretty solid, and the actual wrap itself was nice and soft. But the meat was, it
was
was
it
like
pressed?
clumpy.
Did
and
you find it was a grilled
I
grilled
couldn't-
press?
Well,
No,
I don't know, man. It came like kind of flattened.
Flat, yeah.
It wasn't like a panini by any
You can
stretch.
have- yeah,
but it wasn't. I guess I could have rolled it over. So rolled it.
You
a
don't
bit.
need to be doing
Yeah.
that though. That's not in your. It's not the responsibility of you after ordering one.
So how do you deal with this now?
Was it swimming in veg?
Do I have
Like,
to-
Is that another reason? That
No,
you
no. I said no veg.
please,
I know
and
veg.
tons
I
of
ordered it the
tomatoes.
way that I wanted it. But yeah, no, that was tough.
Good on you for not naming names. I don't think we need to.
No,
need to
I
get
don't. I
into
don't
that
want to
business,
throw anybody
but,
under the bus. What I want to do is maybe give them a review and help them mold this into a Donaire that I would enjoy.
And I think it's a good call out to all Donairs, men and women in the city, to just try to be better today, right? Like,
Yeah.
just
Look, Edmonton is known for its Donaires. We can't have a place that's
Step
not selling
above.
good Donaires. So that's my confession for Spectrum Rental. Or like I said, they like to confess that sometimes bringing home an auger and randomly drilling holes to look busy for their wives, which I think is a pretty clever move. These guys seem like us. Like when I'm texting with these guys, they just seem like us, but instead of doing sports talk, they're renting you things.
pay them a visit and give them a confession while you're there, right? I go in, maybe they'll take you to the back. There's a long couch you can lay on, and get a few other things off your chest.
Danny's in and says, Donaire snob? I'm not being a Donaire snob.
You
here.
have standards that you're used
What,
to.
do you
and
not have standards for your Donaires, though?
I do, and when they're not met, you do get a little. You confessed. It's not. You had a night set up. It's not like you're kind of.
I thought we were in a safe zone here.
It's midnight and you're walking home from a place. Like at that point in time, you're like, whatever. I mean, you just want something. But it's a Monday night, Thanksgiving evening, right? Long weekend. You're settling down, phone off, which is, you're committing.
It wasn't
right?
off, but it was placed
No, but
far out
that's,
of reach,
to me,
right?
it's off enough. Yeah, you're not getting the. I don't know, man. I just for that type of game, and as you mentioned, though, on a Thanksgiving Monday, you're kind of the. You're out there. People are looking for an option.
It was a real buzzkill. Real buzzkill. But I'll get through it.
I don't think it's
I'm
snobby.
not going to let
on
it
your
ruin
part.
my week.
No.
I'll push through.
I think the only way to do it is to get another Donaire tonight.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Flush it out of
Do
your
I
system.
bounce back, right? Do I bounce back and get right back on that train?
It's justified. If
If
they're
not,
there
I've got
for
this
me,
lingering
You
Donaire
don't
feel for a
want
couple
that.
of
You don't.
months, and I really just don't want that.
Maybe you go back into the place actually today. In the
Oh, I'm
flesh,
not gonna-
and you confess to them, say, hey, I had a night last night, and, I had it all going on, and you guys ruined it.
I want to see how you make your
Can,
Donaires.
can you pick up the slack?
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, a deep Donaire investigation video.
You confess to them.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be.
Hey, Dusty, my confession is that I started Aaron Jones on purpose and still won by 60. Oh, what a fancy guy. That's not a confession. That's just a straight up brag. Guys, I just found the honey hole last week. Donaire and Shawarma House Broadmoor Boulevard in Sherwood Park. Okay.
Somebody asking if you prefer the girthier donair.
Well, I like a round one.
Yeah.
I want one that's shaped like a wrap.
Did you order like a super?
Nope.
Yeah.
See, that's
Classic.
the other. Here's the other thing. This is why they need my Donair expertise here. If I had more time, I would go in and say, "Listen, guys, we got to change a few things."
Shut it down.
Because like on the option to order, it didn't even say sweet sauce. It just said Donair sauce. I was like, "Okay, what is this? It's not
Dangerous
real
game.
sweet sauce. It's their own Donair sauce." And then the sizes weren't regular or jumbo. It was small, medium, large.
Ugh.
I should have known then. Who in the world has ever ordered a medium Donair, which I did last night? But it's jumbo, right? It's regular or jumbo. That's how Donair. So these guys in general need Donair help in the game.
They have a small option? Who's getting
Yeah.
what? Waste of time.
Dusty, you have to be a Donair snob. Not all Donairs are worthy. And you have to eat a Donair fresh at the establishment. Your laziness of not going out to get your Donair cost you.
People wanting you to talk to the manager. Not to complain.
To
just-
offer up my services.
Yeah, this is a benefit to them, maybe, in a sense.
Boys, I'm back. Little harder to listen, but I want to support you. That's in from St. Albert Rob.
What?
Well, St. Albert Rob, it's not technically that much harder to listen, right? You just go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com and click Listen
Where have you
Live.
been? I thought you.
So I thought he
you
was
were
here
here.
already. Somebody
Okay.
actually,
Is this
has somebody else not been texting in as St. Albert Rob?
I thought we had to say no.
Yeah, I thought we already had a St. Albert Rob texting in. Well, this is an interesting development. Corey's in from Acme Meats. Thanks for the show meat again, Corey. Continue to eat that this week. Confession, I ordered Super Jumbo from Charles Smart back in the day and couldn't finish it. It still haunts me.
The
That's
one
bound to
that
happen.
got away.
That's
yeah.
bound to happen in that situation.
It's
All
better
right.
than saying I ordered a small and had to order another one, though, I think. You want the legend of not being able to finish that one instead of having to have small after small after small.
I don't know.
I think so.
Think so?
Small donair, come on. You want to have the champ, and the champ beat me. You get a shirt for that.
Justin is in and says, Donair slider size? I'll take 10. That's what you really want.
A little piece of pita bread, a little triangle.
We're talking
And
like this big.
Yeah.
A 2 or 3 biter. And then you have a tray of them
meat, tons of sauce.
for meetings. You have a tray of them, guys, and the sweet sauce is just dippable. It comes like a vegetable. It comes like one of those veggie trays, and in the middle there's like ranch dip, but it's a Donair tray, and you pick up your little Donair, you dip in the sweet sauce, and boom, 2 bites.
Big plate with the meat.
The
And then the lettuce, and then the pita, and you can make your own.
The first Donair place to do this will have our hearts for the rest of our lives. Who can make that happen? Daddy Moss's honest question here: do we shame people who eat chicken donairs? And Penner's Pancake says yes immediately. Have you ever ordered the chicken shawarma or whatever?
Yeah, well, I've had the combo wrap at Lashish. If you know, you know. It's the best. It's the best of both worlds.
What's a combo wrap?
A little bit of beef, a little bit of chicken.
Well, I guess I could have guessed that. Yeah.
And it's got like an onion garden mix, some garlic sauce, and they're very good. And it's pressed. It's not a donair.
Pressed. Yeah, that's not a donair.
No.
It sounds like a meat chicken sandwich.
Well, it's
meat chicken wrap? Like
yeah,
a meat chicken
combo
panini?
wrap. Yeah, it's a combo wrap. You'll love it.
That's interesting.
I'll bring one for you sometime. Actually, that's something you would really enjoy. It'd throw you. It'd be like having a latte instead of your regular.
Well, I am pretty much on board with those now. So that's good.
Strummy says feels like a donair a month doesn't give you enough credit to be trashing any donair. So maybe you'll have to step your game up here as a
No.
we're talking.
I've had donairs from pretty much every place in the city that you would say you had to have a donair from. So I don't feel like I'm unqualified
You've played
to
the
critique
game.
this thing.
You've played the game. You're
Yeah.
a vet. You've Strummy's trying to come at you. You're trying to come after that crown.
It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous thing to say, Strummy. Don't make me go heel Dusty on a Tuesday of a short week. It's the last thing I want to do. Senor Boots is in it. Says, my brother-in-law made donairs at home. It was awesome and insanely easy.
Yeah. Well, Yukon Jack's homemade ones.
I said last night, I said to my wife last night when I went upstairs, I said, it wasn't that good. I said, Yukon Jack's homemade donair was better than this one. And I wouldn't put Yukon, I know Yuk like loves his donairs and stuff. It's not a top 10 donair in the city, But it's pretty good for a guy who's just grinding it out at home.
Making your own loaf. And then you can cut them up as you want. This goes into that slider story. When you make your own loaf at home, you can
do whatever you want.
Donairs all day long.
You can have donair meat in just 2 regular sandwich slices. Just 2 regular white pieces of bread.
You don't know what you're missing, man.
I want to figure this out here.
You need a spit for Christmas.
For Christmas this year, I'd like a donair spit. Yeah, that's what you just said. Yeah. I think I
buy you an industrial fan, the whole bit.
No.
Outfit a room in your house. Yeah,
and a shaver.
Yeah.
Got to have one of those shavers. I really want to try one of those. All right. Your confessions brought to you by Spectrum Rental, where they confess for sometimes bringing home an auger and randomly drilling holes to look busy to their wives. Visit them at SpectrumRental.com. I also feel like it would be a fun place to go and hang out. We've got a sports update on the way here with Lieutenant Eric, and right now we need somebody to text us, 780-218-9999, if you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia this morning and get your hands on a gift certificate from Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. Go get your hands on some of those sirloin bites with that dipping sauce. They are delicious. Text us right now, 780-218-9999, 780-218, and then 4 9s in a row, 9999, and let Maddie know that you would like to play Kind of Easy Trivia this morning. We will connect with one of you shortly here. We'll bang out Kind of Easy Trivia. We got 3 questions too many still to come as well. Joaquin Gage is going to pop by. We'll talk some F1 with Gager. New episode of Pit Stop Pals dropping in the next couple of days here as well at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. But let's get to an update with Eric. If you want to play Kind of Easy Trivia right now, 780-218-9999. 3 questions too many coming up as well. Let's get to a sports update with LTE.
Monday Night Football saw Jordan Love picked off 3 times as the Raiders picked up a 17-13 win over the Packers. You can join me Thursday night at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Broncos visit the Chiefs. The Century Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reporting this morning the Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson will be placed on the IR. It'll sideline him for at least 4 games. Ottawa Red Blacks bounced from playoff contention yesterday with a 29-3 loss to Montreal. The Elks will round out the home portion of their schedule Saturday afternoon at home to the Alouettes. Puck drop in the NHL regular season tonight. 3 games on the schedule. Tampa hosts Nashville. Chicago visit the Penguins. While the defending champion Vegas Golden Knights welcome in Seattle. The Oilers are out in Vancouver to battle the Canucks tomorrow night. Oil Kings drop 1 to Lethbridge yesterday, 5-2. The third of a 6-game homestand will go tomorrow when the Oil Kings host Saskatoon. Major League Baseball divisional round action will continue today. Astros and Twins tied at a game apiece. Game 3 goes from Minnesota. First pitch 2:07. Rangers, they'll be relying on the power of Creed once again. They're 2-0 up on Baltimore. First pitch from Arlington, 6:03 this evening. This sports update brought to you by the staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. He can't make a good soup. He can't do a handstand in a pool. He can't spell the word lieutenant, but he can damn well sell you a car.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Tuesday morning with the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you're on the Nasty Chat today, tell your friends, hey, if you want a little good sports entertainment in the morning, hop on to our YouTube channel. And, hey, if you're watching, make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we're firing things up here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Still to come today here, we've got the Hangout from 9 to 11, the Lock Shop at 11 o'clock this morning. We're getting ready for opening night in the National Hockey League, Fantasy Football 5 around 11:50 this morning, and then 2 guys in goalie with myself, Cass, and Gager at noon today. What is on the Hangout today, Maddie? What's coming up on the Hangout today?
Doug McLean will be by. Nice. Golden Bears, Pandas, Stingers, broadcaster, and Will Fraser is
what?
by.
I didn't know Fraser's going to be in the building today.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I thought you would have led with phrase, but I love
That's
leaving
exciting.
it.
I mean, nothing against Doug. Doug's great too.
No,
This
yeah.
is gonna be a great discussion today.
And Tommy will be here for an hour or so.
Then he's going to the rink.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna get a little. And he'll be dressed up.
Yep.
Oh, Fraser's gonna rip apart his clothing
Smelling
for sure.
great.
Yeah.
Was it the Bahama Breeze? What was that?
Is that what that scent
cologne
was?
that he had on?
Who's playing Kind of Easy Trivia today, buddy?
Tim is on the line.
Tim is going to play Kind of Easy Trivia today, looking to get his hands on a gift certificate to Man, Phrase. God, Phrase is in the house today. This is great. Tim's trying to get his hands on a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. The sirloin bites are to die for. Brand new location in Fort Sask as well. So you're in Fort Sask, you're looking to take that burger game, steak game, or just that casual game to another level. Go check it out at Mr. Mike's in Fort Sask. All right, let's bring in Tim this morning. Tim, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Yep.
You?
We're doing just fine. Thanks for asking. You need to get 3 out of 5 correct to win this gift certificate. I'll start the ticker after read the first question, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck, Tim. Here we go, man. Which league begins their regular season tonight?
National Hockey League.
Which team signed Mark Scheifele to an extension yesterday?
Winnipeg Jets.
Who's the starting goalie of the Winnipeg Jets?
Connor Hellebuck.
Which team won the NFL Monday Nighter?
Raiders.
Who did the Elks lose to on Friday?
Argonauts.
Boom. 5 for 5.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year, we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
All right, congratulations to Tim. He's going to Mr. Mike's. Casualest place ever. I think I saw Kevin who went there said his kids, they didn't even have to change out of their pajama pants because Mr. Mike's is your casual steakhouse.
Slide right down into the booth. Just you can. The best part of the booth, you can just kind of like lean back. Well, the thing.
I can't remember the last time I went out anywhere to eat food in public in pajama pants. Now I wear sweatpants. There's really not much of a difference there.
But you would go out in the sweats if you like.
Well,
you're not, oh my God, they can't see me out in my sweatpants.
No, I have nice sweats.
Yeah,
I've gotten some nice sweats I'll wear out to places. One of them, actually, a quick example of this, when we were going to the zoo down in Calgary yesterday to wrap up the weekend, my original plan was to wear sweats to the Calgary Zoo. And then I got outside, and it was so warm out, I was just like, okay, well, I'll throw on shorts then. But I was planning on wearing sweats to the zoo for a really comfortable kind of zoo viewing.
Sweats. Brand new Skechers. You're killing the zoo.
Tell me somebody who's more comfortable. Tell me somebody who's more comfortable. With that being said, I still live in fear of birds, and the Calgary Zoo got to me again yesterday. I forgot to tell you guys this. I was going to do it during confessions. Yeah, thank you. So there's those damn peacocks that just walk around the Calgary Zoo. I hate them. So Tammy and the kids were going into one of the places where it's like enclosed. I think it was the African jungle area down there. And I know they have birds that fly around inside there.
This is like Jurassic Park here.
I told Tam the kids, I said, you guys go into that one. Daddy's going to wait outside. I'll wait right over here. Then I found this nice little bench area. But
safe.
It was kind of like sort of enclosed a bit. So I was like, I'll sit out here. So Tam and the kids went into this place where birds I knew were going to be flying around. And I'm sitting outside, and I'm kind of on my phone, following along. It was just sports stuff, whatever. And I didn't look up. And of all the places in the world for this to happen, I'm sitting there in this area. There was no way out. Like, the only way out was like probably an 8-foot gap to get out from these two benches were out to where everybody else is. So I'm on my phone. I'm not paying attention. And I look up, and what do you think is standing 5 feet in front of me? The Calgary Zoo peacock. It was just, it's like it knew I was there.
Is there one?
I think there might only be one. Maybe there's two. But anyway, this damn peacock somehow had tracked me down and had cornered me. I had no way out. Like, I couldn't go up or over. It was just me and this peacock staring each other down. So I thought, well, how the hell am I going to get past this guy?
Was
now?
it flexing its plumage?
Well, it looked like it was just moving a little bit. I said, okay, this is
sizing you up.
Like, let's
sizing
go.
you up. Yeah.
Let's go. Instead, I moved from my bench and I kind of creepily went around to the side where I didn't think he could see me. And then he took a few more steps this way, and I snuck out behind him and took off.
See, that is Jurassic Park dinosaur movement, right? So you were kind of getting out of the line of vision.
Well, I thought maybe it would be like a T-Rex, where if you don't move, It can't see you. So I should have just
Throw a
sat there like
flare
this
over there,
and not moved. So anyway, this damn peacock tracked me down again at the Calgary Zoo.
but you escaped.
I want
And
to.
you're like,
I want to bring a pellet gun and shoot that thing.
yeah.
Just a little pellet gun. Scare it away.
The man in the sweats and the Skechers, he's running away.
That guy. That guy. Not
Jumping
even
over
pellet
the
gun.
fence.
What's the thing you use? A slingshot.
Yeah.
Give me a slingshot. I've never been good at
between the
slingshots.
eyes.
I'll slingshot that peacock right in the
that
butt.
peafowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate those things. And it found me again yesterday. It's
You
ongoing,
can run too.
ongoing battle we have.
Clock those things are like,
Don't even get it. You don't think
60K.
I can outrun a peacock?
well,
Let's see.
beat
eh?
me first in the foot race.
Let's see. Let's get into 3 questions too many. Brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Lieutenant, do you have a liner for the segment today?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki, where Mitch is quite glad that they went away from the Peacock as their dealership mascot. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Reminds me, Will Smith, remember Fresh Prince? He was the Peacock, right? The ULA Peacock? He was
Were they the
guy
Peacocks?
The Peacocks were marching down. They had a whole fight song. And
Peacocks.
Da, 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 da. And he was or Carlton was. And then
Carlton was, but then
they
Will had to
kidnapped him?
do it one time.
They kidnapped him in the cage.
That's right. Man, that was a good episode.
That was really good.
Were
yeah,
they the
yeah.
Peacocks?
They were the Peacocks.
ULA Peacocks?
ULA.
Yeah,
That's how the whole the fight.
Oh,
song.
that's
Yeah, the
well, that
basketball
wasn't a
team.
scary peacock.
No. But
No.
you understand how they could use it as a sports team. Very intimidating animal.
Yeah.
Or peafowl.
Yeah. It's like what is it? A fly at the beginning of some shows for NBC. Flies around like at the end of the show or
An
something.
actual fly? Like a
I don't know. I didn't think they could fly, but yeah, Daniels and
the peacock.
wasn't that Carlton? That was the peacock. Yeah, I think it was Carlton
There
that kidnapped
was
him.
that
Then
episode
Will
where
had
he-
to pretend, and then
that-
Will started doing that funny dancing that he would always do.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, that's how it went. I'm pretty sure we're thinking about the same episode here. All right, do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, it's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can always follow along on Twitter, which the educational videos that Matt, pictures, I guess, but we did have a video way back in the day. How to listen, how to digest Edmonton sports talk. It's very easy. And I like how you had the 3 frames. 1, 2,
It's
3.
simple, man,
It's
like-
3 steps. And then you can kind of meld the 2. It's pretty much 2 steps. 2 steps, 3 pictures. How to listen to Edmonton sports talk. It's all up there for your Android, for your Apple, and for everything else as well. And the video from some time ago as well. And then what else? Yes, the Gee Flaming, if you missed it, the Good, Bad, and Ugly, the WHL, the official WHL account tweeted it. Peak pumpkin pie eating athleticism doesn't exist. Oh, and then they wait, and it's Gee Flaming. Glasses and everything. He goes full face down to the pumpkin pie. It's amazing. As you mentioned, like he sells the whole thing. My quote tweet was, "What a guy."
People probably read
His name
read
is
it as what
yeah,
a key, yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
So,
funny,
yeah.
actually. You got to go watch it, though. We brought it up during the Good, Bad, and Ugly. Gee Flaming was just a legendary effort, burying his face into this pumpkin pie like nobody has in the history of pumpkin pie eating
And
contests.
that's tough when somebody in a contest like that goes full bore. Like you kind of have to put your utensil down at that point. You got to join.
No, but they didn't. The guy,
know, but you
the one
can't
guy
be
sat
like-
next to him eating his pie.
eating it like-
looking at, he's eating his pie, looking at Gee going,
Dude.
what the hell is this guy doing?
Get in.
Yeah.
Get in or get out.
And then the other guy was just eating with his hands. And Flaming was just straight up into him. He was great.
Yeah, the nasty chat was loving that.
Hey, Dusty, you should go to Winnipeg Zoo and see the albino peacock. I don't think so. That's ridiculous.
You and Huss, sports trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, no. Question number 1. Let's go here. Where do baseball playoffs rank among professional sports playoffs?
When your team is in it or when your team is out of it? Because
Well, I was going to say 2 different answers, but is that not the same answer for all sports?
I guess.
Right? If
But
the
I
Oilers
think-
are still going in the playoffs are obviously up here. Once the Oilers are eliminated, NHL playoffs are like down here.
But we were talking about like wild card and how you blink and it's over, right? 3, best of 3. I like the best of 5. You can argue that maybe the best of 7 could be sometimes too long. Of course,
I don't even like the best of 5.
you want best
Best
of
of 7s. Give me best of 7s.
I think best of 5 in baseball. In terms, I know baseball's now a super fast sport. Like it goes so fast now. The games are they only take 20 minutes. But I just there's something with the 5 that I kind of like. It's not too quick. It's not too long. I think now with the Blue Jays out, I mean it captures the nation. I think in hockey, of course, there's multiple teams here, so you could. I don't know, man. Like football is once a week. It's once a week, right?
So you like the idea of seeing baseball
you
playoffs
can't really
every
get
single
sick
night?
of it.
Like,
Yeah, and I don't. What's the question even? I don't. What do we?
It says
hate
where
more?
do baseball playoffs rank among all the professional sports playoffs?
So hockey's your number 1.
Yeah, but
it has to be because it's hockey.
Yeah, but does it? Like, think about last year's Stanley Cup final. Would you rather watch that or the drama of every pitch in the World Series?
I think most people would be putting baseball with your NBA. And
I'd rather watch
third,
NBA playoffs.
Yeah, so you're having it at 4.
I'd probably have it at 4. With that being said, I mean, the final moments of a close game in the World Series provide you with some of the best drama out of all of it. So, I don't know. I'm torn on this one. It's a good question, though. I do like the question.
Because if your team's out of it in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you get to the conference finals, yeah, whatever. But when it gets to the Stanley Cup, it kind of sucks you back in. Like any final series will suck you back in, depending on how many semifinals and quarterfinals you've had to kind of go through there.
780-218-9999. Where would you rank Major League playoffs among all of the playoffs?
Wild card is fun because it's so quick. I'll give it that. Like I don't like to see it because it's over before, but it's very cerebral.
The NBA players are fun because it's usually all the superstars who are still going, right? So then you've got like huge matchups every single night. Giannis versus Steph. Well, you know, Steph versus LeBron. Like, I don't know. NFL playoffs, CFL playoffs.
It's once week. You have all week to
build it up. Those games could end up being duds. I mean, all games could end up being duds. I don't know. I think I'd probably, let's see. H.E. Pennypacker says baseball is number 1 for me. I think Big Maple says 1A, 1B, baseball, and March Madness. Danny says baseball playoffs rank high due to the suspense level involved in them.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always like one-on-one showdown
after
showdown after showdown, right? So, yeah. I think it's a different conversation. Early playoff baseball and then World Series playoff baseball. Early playoff baseball, it doesn't. I'm sorry, it's 4 for me. But World Series ranks higher than AFC and NFC Championship. You know, unless it's a good final 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Tough call. Good question. Whoever sent that in, great question. That was a good one. Appreciate that. Question number 2. Who else do you think should use Creed to get pumped up now? So Texas Rangers have taken ownership in this Creed thing in the clubby before games. What organization should adopt it next, I guess, is what this question is.
I mean, they won't, but it would be the Oilers to get them over the hump. If you're looking for how do you conference finals, you're getting close. You're just getting so close. And the window to win is now. What could kind of force you out that window, right? Just kind of, and also
Would that be something?
To loosen things up a bit. That's what this is. That's what Creed is.
That's what.
That's the whole point of all this. So the point of the exercise is listening to a band from the 90s that we all kind of take, or early aughts, I guess you could argue, that we all kind of see as a bit of a laugh, a bit of a gag, and it loosens you up. And I think for an Oilers room that, all the lights and the action and the attention will be on them, maybe they need a little Creed looseness. Maybe that's what'll cut through. In the hockey world, I doubt that'll happen, but it can be in my little fantasy realm, I think, for that. Creed and the Oilers. The relationship we never knew we had, or we've been waiting so long to have, or whatever. They do that.
We didn't know we needed it.
We're laughing. Like that's, give it to me.
I don't think they would do it.
No, not at all. But we need it. You need it.
It'd be a cool thing to rally around. Yeah. That's for sure. It'd be great for us.
Creed needs it for crying out loud.
Yeah, Creed could use the bump.
Creed could always use the bump now.
Creed could use the bump.
Being in their position, you just selling your services now for any team or athlete that wants them.
From a selfish perspective, I'd also love to throw the Detroit Lions in there. Like, can you imagine Dan Campbell coming into the room pregame and going over some schemes and talking about what they're going to do defensively, and then goes and says, "Oh, and by the way, boys, just to get you a little pumped up," hits the play on the music system and walks out as, "Hello, my friends, we meet again."
What's your Thanksgiving Day game here? 23rd here, Packers Lions.
Huge win.
That's when it happens, though. Creed comes out, Thanksgiving Day game, halftime, and they all have the blue ski masks on. Like, God. I'll give you the Super Bowl ring now. Like, that doesn't propel you to a championship. I don't know what will.
Every single team, or every single league should have one team that is forced to adopt this.
Pirate shirt, blue ski mask, being lowered by cables from the top.
Morning, fellas. Playoffs. NHL 1, followed by NFL, NBA, MLB. That comes from the full Jaunty in Victoria today.
Everybody likes the first round. And then
First
once
round of the
nobody-
NHL is awesome.
We get it every year, right?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's done. It's over.
Yeah, because first of all, half the league's involved in the first round.
Yes. And it's
Then
fun.
8 teams are eliminated. Your team's out. Tell me how excited you are for the second round of the National Hockey Playoffs.
See it every year.
The second round of the National Hockey Playoffs might be the most irrelevant of all playoff rounds in every league going.
Yeah.
I know why. And then it gets better for the conference finals,
Sure.
and then it gets pretty good for the Stanley Cup final. But that second round of the NHL playoffs, nobody really cares
It's
about.
a no man's land type of thing. And you've had such an excitement off the opening round. The action's coming at you quick. You're 3 games a night or whatever.
Got to be a letdown. Has to be a letdown after the first round of the NHL playoffs. Pat Maroon's bib says Mark Scheifele, after signing that 8-year deal, will be singing "My Own Prison." No, they want to stay in Winnipeg, man. That's why they signed the deal. Cal is in and says a coworker is going on a Caribbean cruise next year, and Creed is the headliner. And see, that's not a Caribbean cruise. That's a Creed cruise. Your coworker is going on the Creed cruise. It just happens to be in the Caribbean.
I love how I didn't know the date. I thought it was yearly. You looked at me earlier this morning like, dude, what do you?
Yeah.
Like you already have tickets in waiting in the queue. But the lineup for this thing is extreme. I mean, you've got bands such as Tonic, Three Doors Down, Vertical Horizon, The Verve Pipe. The Verve Pipe.
The Verve Pipe's still a thing.
Fuel, Tantric, to name a few. I won't be going on this cruise, but certainly, I mean, you could make a case for wanting to.
Well, I like cruising. I've been on a cruise once. We did the Alaska cruise with a bunch of old people.
Yeah?
And it was good.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be full-blown panic being out on a ship like the Titanic with how that ended. But it was pretty good.
But this seems more like week 1 Miami, or no, the week 2. How long is this thing? This seems more like a fun, though. This is creepy. This isn't touring like an Alaskan, you're
I view this
is a
as
fun, sunshiny type of cruise.
like Scott Stapp's just out with everybody else in the cruise during the day. Like he's at the
real
pool.
tan. Yeah.
He's going on whale watching excursions.
Leathered.
And then he's like, "See you tonight." And then you just go to the show. And then after he's at the tables at the little
Catch him in the buffet
boat
line.
casino. Yeah, he's at the buffet line as well.
Hey, great set last night. For tonight though? Can I make some?
He comes up to you
suggestions?
and he's like, "Can I sit with you guys?" That would be amazing. I like that. If you're watching this morning on YouTube, make sure you hammer that thumbs up. It goes a long way in the whole algorithm game.
Yeah, week 1, Miami to Nassau, Bahamas, April 18 to 22. Week 2, April 27 to May 1, Port Canaveral.
What was that
to
first
Nassau,
date there?
Bahamas.
You said April 20.
April 18 to 22.
And then what was the next one?
And then April 27 to May 1. So you could do both weeks.
April 27th is my birthday.
That's smack dab in the middle. So you've done week 1, boom, birthday, and then week 2 you can round her back
You say
up
I
again.
do both weeks?
I think you do both weeks.
Matt, do you
But
think
your
technically
birthday's
we
right in the
could
middle.
do this show from a cruise ship? I mean,
As long as there's
we're doing
internet.
it from a building built in the 60s.
You pay for the Wi-Fi internet, of course you
International
can.
waters? I mean, we think we have no rules now.
Could
right?
we play Creed in international waters?
whatever we
No,
want.
that still doesn't. But you'd be in the same boat. Maybe you can go and convince them to sign over rights.
Did you mean
So
to
you could
say
play it.
same boat, or was it like a reference of you're in the same boat as them?
You're literally on the same boat
Okay,
as them.
that's what I was wondering.
No, because then you could go find them and get them to sign over copyright.
We could do anything
permission.
out there, though, eh?
You go stalk them until they give you permission so that we could play Creed on the show. That's what I'm saying. You're right there. You just need to go find the manager or something and say, hey, can you sign this? Honestly, you just get a form that says, and just ask for an quote-unquote autograph.
Can I get you to sign this?
But it's a legal document letting us have full copyright to play it on the show.
That would be awesome.
We all just go take one and go to one person, and we just until we get all the signatures we need. And then boom, the Nielson show could play Creed again because we got the permissions.
See, now that's even more creative than my plan, which was to get a cameo, but have him say all the words we would need to cut it into, hi, I'm Scott Stapp. You can play Creed on Tuesdays on the Nielson show. Right?
I mean, you could go that route or you could go the 2 weeks here. I think they're both well worth the money and investment and time just to get this over the line.
Danny Moss is in and says, Creed Cruise Day. Send that in a text. That could end up being the old text of the day there. That's a pretty good one. Guys, what if one of us does a recording of guitars and drums? Are we allowed to play it on the air then? I could potentially do it. I just need to find the time. Yeah, I know if we get a parody done, we can play it.
Well, somebody was asking if even Craig Button's cell phone ring would affect us this morning. No, whatsoever. Is that a?
Yeah.
Have we broken a rule?
Oh. That's the last thing we do is play ringtones. What are you up to? Want to look like you want to get in there?
No, I was going to slide my mic to the
Oh,
side.
I thought you were reaching for your mic.
No.
All right, question number 3.
Also, did you, by the way, mention Champions League is one of the best playoffs?
You want to talk soccer?
He didn't.
Well, I'm just saying.
Nobody cares about soccer. I know.
That is that keeps people interested even when their team's
Big
not out.
Four leagues.
So where would you
Big
rank
Four.
Champions League then in the overall scheme of sports playoffs? Because the question was about baseball. He didn't bring up Champions League.
Well, but you were going through some of them.
Yeah. So where would Champions League rank? I can't even. I don't watch
soccer.
I watch the Champions League final, but where does it rank for you guys? Because you enjoy Champions
I'd
League.
have the Europa League here. Champions League maybe here.
Is that
So 1 and 2 for the people listening at home.
Yeah.
That's because Liverpool's in
I was going to say
Europa League.
because Liverpool's in Europa, right? That's
Just a bit of an
That's basically the
inside
American
joke
Hockey
here.
League playoffs, right? Is that one? All right. Question number 3. I haven't even got to question 3 yet. Question number 3. All this question is, it just came in and it just says, morning donairs? Question mark?
Yeah. I think with the sauce, that's the thing.
I don't know about donairs in the morning.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just on the show for show purposes. If we did hey, local donair companies, you want to bring in a donair? Eric and I will try it on the air and give you an honest review, right? Just because you're bringing it in doesn't mean we're gonna be like, wow, this is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But as in general, I don't think I'm, I don't think I prefer to have a donair in the morning. I'm not even a donair for lunch guy. I like donairs probably from 8 p.m. to about 11 p.m. That would be my donair window.
You're saying it you're saying when you say donair, you're thinking jumbo. I'm talking about those sliders.
Oh, snack bites, slider bites.
I will. If you put a plate of just loose donair meat here,
yeah,
with an option to dip, perhaps with a creamier,
so you don't even need the wrap.
I'll dip the meat. I'll do it all morning.
I would do that as well.
All morning.
I mean, I'm lying
I'm
to
not
you
taking
if
down
I said
a
I wouldn't
jumbo,
do it.
at 6 o'clock. I'm not, tasking me with that, but I will nibble on. If we could pick apart a jumbo donair throughout the 3 morning show, maybe one each.
Yeah, it'd be okay then. We would probably do that. So yeah, I guess the question to morning donairs question mark. I guess it would be yes.
Sign me up.
Dan is in and says, I'm still waiting for breakfast donairs to be a thing. Oh, man. How do you pull that off? What about regular donair just with a side of scrambled eggs? Breakfast donair.
There it is.
Done.
It's easy.
Whoa. Donair omelet.
Donair omelet. Sure.
You put the donair meat in the omelet.
Yeah.
Sweet sour, the sweet sauce on top. Boom. There's another donair breakfast.
Donair Benny. And then that hollandaise sauce could be the sweet sauce on top of here. Right?
There's lots of ways you can do it. People just need to get creative, right? Change the game.
Steak and eggs.
Change the game.
Donair flank.
Oh, donair flank.
And eggs.
That's nice. All right, let's get. I know Gager's sitting there. Let's do this. Let's get to a sports update, and then we'll have Joaquin Gage coming up for Pro-Am Sports as well. The wrap still to come for William Huff. We're going to talk some F1. Obviously, set up the National Hockey League season with Gager, who'll be back with me on 2 guys and a goalie with myself, Cass, and Gager a little bit later on today. That'll be at noon right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, live and commercial free. But right now, let's get into a sports update from LT.
Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson is being placed on the IR, sidelining him for at least the next 4 games. Monday nighter last night saw Jordan Love picked off 3 times as the Raiders notching a 17-13 home win over the Packers. Sticking with football yesterday, Red Blacks bounced from playoff contention. They fall to Montreal 29-3. The Elks will welcome Montreal to town Saturday afternoon to round out the home portion of their schedule. Puck drop in the NHL tonight. Regular season action, 3 games on the schedule. Tampa hosts Nashville. Chicago visit Pittsburgh, while Vegas are at home to Seattle. The Oilers are out in Vancouver to battle the Canucks tomorrow night. Oil Kings falling to Lethbridge yesterday 5-2. The third of a 6-game homestand will go tomorrow when the Oil Kings host the Saskatoon Blades. Major League Baseball divisional round action will continue today with a pair, the Astros and Twins. That series tied at a game apiece. Game 3 from Minnesota, first pitch 2:07. Rangers, they'll look to rely on the power of Crete once again. They're leading Baltimore 2-0. The first pitch this evening from Arlington, 6:03. Sports update for United Sport and Cycle, supporting hockey and your community for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$8:29 with the AM Nasty. Thank you very much for being here. Tell your friends about the show. Oh, also, Texas Rangers by 1 million in Game 3. Probably got to ride that. We'll have to get on Coolbet. Take a look at that line, too. If you missed it, our Coolbet hotline of the day. Connor Bedard to score in his NHL debut tonight at plus 195. Joaquin Gage brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. If you're looking for that Heritage Classic gear, maybe even with Gage on the back, you can go get that at proamsports.ca. Gager, good morning, buddy. How you doing, man?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Gager
I guess
muted?
I should have said that last week.
Oh,
Whatever. Oh,
well,
no,
we got you,
I'm
Gager.
not muted.
No, we got you. We got you. What's up?
Okay, jeez.
Yeah,
Scare me.
Were you already talking F1? What were you talking about there?
Oh, yeah. I was all over Oscar Piastri. You know me. Dusty. I was dove right into it. I just said I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, we did. Eric made a roast.
Made a roast, a beef roast.
I had a donair that I didn't like. And what did you do, Gager?
Family dinner.
Did you make dinner or did you go to dinner?
No. It's that's all the in-laws. They prep everything and very traditional Thanksgiving dinner. It was awesome.
Do you so when you go to somebody's house, now it's different when it's like friends or family, but did you take home some leftovers from that dinner?
Oh yeah, because everyone, like, I do the Brussels sprouts, or my wife. I'm the prep cook. I skin the Brussels sprouts and kind of julienne the carrots or whatever. But so we bring that. But then there's a huge tray of Brussels sprouts. So everyone takes some, and then we just load up that tray with all the leftovers and bring that home, which works out quite nicely.
Did you have Brussels sprouts, Rick?
No, but I love them. What do you do?
Yeah.
Cut them in half, a little bit of oil in the oven for.
Cut them in half, roast, oil, and then it's red cabbage, prosciutto, pecans.
Oh wow!
Holy smokes!
Parm cheese, lemon pepper.
Oh, stop! We're already dead, Gager.
The cheese is
We're
good.
already
The cheese
dead.
is good.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, they're fan. I you know what? Maybe Thursday, if there's any left, bring some in.
No, don't bring in.
And you julienne your own carrots as well?
Oh, I use the food processor, but
Are you guys saying
they are
Juliet
by
or
hand.
Julienne?
Julienne?
What is that? Is that when you
over
shave them super thin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why do we have to call it that? Why can't we just say shaved super thin carrots?
Well, it sounds better, you put the chef's hat on.
Okay, yeah,
Julienne,
I guess.
yeah.
All right, Let's get to we got him listed here as F1 expert, Joaquin Gage, which I do like. Gager, heat was a bit of an issue in Qatar, wasn't it?
It seemed that way, Dusty. I mean, I was Williams. Well, let's just say we saw some greatness and the birth of greatness. I think this race, like, who knew that Williams would find someone able to replace Latifi? Like, that was just amazing. But at first, hearing him on the radio complaining and trying to battle it out, and I thought it was a little bit put on. But then afterwards, seeing guys laying down, guys rush to the hospital. Lance Stroll, I mean, the guy's got the weight of a nation on his shoulders. You can understand it, but he says he passed out in the car during the race. Very, very physical, demanding race. But then you see Fernando Alonso ready to party, just reaffirming the one guy I would like to party with in F1 is Fernando Alonso.
He gets through that heat and he's still ready to go. Do you think they got to take Qatar off the sked? Like, if it's going to be that ridiculous?
I mean, if it's, you don't want someone passing out and crashing the car.
Yeah,
right. Like,
that's
if
what I
it
mean.
gets to that point. I mean, there should be. I mean, they got through it. Maybe it's just maybe it was the whole weekend though, Dusty. Like this is 2 races, right? So it was a sprint race. Maybe don't have the sprint format for Qatar.
That sprint race was so good though.
I know it was so good. Like, and we got another one coming up too, which is great. But maybe in those, it doesn't suit the really hot conditions because guys are racing more, and it is more physically demanding, I think, when they can opposed to a normal session with qualifying where, you know, there's certain breaks in there they can go in and get the dry ice packs put all over their body in between Q1, Q2, and Q3.
F1 expert Joaquin Gage with us on the show this morning. We're going to get to some Oilers here in just a second. The beginning of that race in Qatar was unbelievable because you've got Mercedes in their best starting spot with the two of them basically all year. Looked like Lewis was trying to take both of George and Max at that one moment, and then he ends up clipping Russell right off the track. He gets reprimanded for walking across the track after. Was that 100% on Lewis? Just a rare mistake from a veteran like that, just too aggressive against his own teammate?
Yeah, I think he finally saw an opportunity to lead a race off the beginning, and who knew what would have happened from that point on. But just at first I thought, oh, what happened there? But after looking at it, I did think Lewis turned in because he did have some room there. And over the radio, of course, he thought that George torpedoed him. But after the race, you saw Lewis. After watching the replay, seeing what happened, he realized that it was his fault. You saw him going into the debriefing room and apologizing to George, and they still have that. You know, it seemed like cooler heads prevailed in that situation. But those two. I mean, we'll see what happens with McLaren here in the next little bit, but I just like the battle between both those drivers. They arguably right now they have the best tandem in F1 with both George and Lewis, and I think they're going to battle consistently, or at least for the next 2 years.
How many more victories does McLaren take away from Verstappen between now and the end of the year?
Oh, that's going to be tough, man. Max showed a lot, you know, after winning, becoming champion, and then putting a stamp on the race and just pulling away. I don't know. I think that McLaren might have a chance in Mexico because if memory serves me correctly, last year Red Bull had a lot of difficulty in with the altitude at that level, right? Actually, the Mercedes really performed well at that point. So that's the only race that I have questions of where we might not see the dominance that Red Bull's shown throughout the whole year. But that might be a chance for one of the other cars, especially we'll see how Mercedes does. Maybe Hamilton finally gets back on the podium and well, not back on the podium, but wins a race his first time in a few years here. So that's the only one. Otherwise, from that, Dusty, I think Max is just going to set this record, and it's not going to be touched for a very, very long time. The only guy I see touching it is probably Max again, getting close to it if Red Bull keeps this car consistent as it is.
Joaquin Gage with us on the show this morning. Gage, let's flip over. I dropped these 5 bold takes on the Oilers earlier on the show today. You tell me which one's the boldest, all right? Jack Campbell wins more games than Stuart Skinner. The Oilers end up with 6 25-goal scorers. Dylan Holloway is in the top 6 for opening night of the playoffs. The first-round pick will be traded by the deadline. And then I added in that funny one at the end. Darnell Nurse finishes top 10 in Norris Trophy voting. Which one is the most bold of all of them, Gager?
It's got to be the 25 goals, Dusty. That's
6 guys with 25 plus, too much?
6. Yeah. Are you counting Connor and Leon as... because they'll both get 50.
They have 2 25-goal seasons in there, yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of those things, I think it's almost necessary in a way. If Darnell Nurse isn't considered top 10 in Norris Trophy, that that's not a good year. I don't think he has to raise the level of his game as everyone does. Holloway has to. Maybe he doesn't crack the top 6, does he? But he has to be. He would be a interchangeable piece if it came down to injuries at that point. He should be a plug and play player that can go into your top 6 at that point. I like where he is. I want to see that line and who he's playing with to become that energy line. He really has to proceed with this great play during the preseason and get it into the regular season. And I think he's ready for that. I think it's a different mindset in training camp, trying to make the team to knowing you're on the team and getting ready for the regular season. And I think that's what we saw from Dylan Holloway. He was arguably, aside from Jack Campbell, probably the best Oiler in all 26 games of preseason.
What's going to be a good season for Darnell Nurse? Tell me how we look at the end of the year and go, wow, good year for Nurse. How do you think that comes about?
He has to be the guy that's a no-brainer to be out there in the last 2 minutes of a game up a goal, right? That has to be, and consistently shutting down the top pair, the top lines of other teams and making it very difficult. I hate comparing him to Pronger because no one's Chris Pronger, but you remember years ago, Dusty, we had Mac T on the
two guys, yeah.
And he was just saying, we asked him about having Pronger and what's it like, and he said that it was just such a luxury to have a guy that you would just throw out there and you knew the other team wasn't going to score, right? That's to have that to have a player of that caliber on your team, just knowing that he is going to go dominate, possibly put up points, but there was just no way that the other team was going to generate anything, because once they did, he would shut it down. And that's what Darnell Nurse, that's the level that he needs to get to.
Gager, I don't know if we're wrapping up soon. Dusty might have another one. I needed to get this off my chest, and I'm very, very curious. Hockey is back. The CFL is going into playoff mode. The Elks have one last home game left this Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock down at Commonwealth. Can we count on you to be cooking Saturday afternoon for the final home game?
I haven't gotten the go-ahead yet.
Okay. Game time decision.
How have you not gotten the go-ahead yet? You're the wiener phantom of Commonwealth. Like,
listen, Dusty, everyone loves my wiener. You know, it's a delicacy, and sometimes there's a lot of people that want to get into that kitchen. It's a status symbol. I've taken the ball and run with it. They know the skills of me in the kitchen, taking over it for the first time and running it like a well-tuned Red Bull machine. But sometimes you got to see what you have. You know, it hasn't been a great season for the Elks. My win-loss record with my wiener isn't good. Maybe they have to get some. This is the time of year when you get some call-ups.
Are you stepping aside? Are you kind of?
No, you don't. I say
he's
no.
Letting the youth
I
rise,
say don't step aside. I say whether you're invited or not, you roll in like Costanza, like you're still supposed to be there, buddy.
You know, to tell you the truth, Dusty, I wouldn't mind just joining some Eric and stuff and partaking in some of the festivities.
You're invited.
You know, so maybe
that's a good idea.
Maybe
too,
I do
actually.
a little 50-50. Maybe
do
a little 50-50.
tailgating. Come pregame tailgate, hey?
Okay, yeah. So I'll find out. I'll know by Thursday. And I'll let you know.
Keep in touch.
You just want another box of goodies to the TS. Are the people at TSN asking for the box of goodies at the end of the
top
game?
in the booth there? I'm sure the camera guys would like some more burgers. I was dishing them out last night. It's a weird clout thing. Like, it's a weird status thing. Like, oh, you want some burgers? I got burgers for everybody here. Like,
you want to eat?
Yeah, it's kind of big. I like that. That's
looky what I got for you.
Gager, good stuff, buddy. We'll dive into the Winnipeg Jets a bit on 2 guys and a goalie today, all right?
Can't wait.
All right, see you later, man. That is Joaquin Gage. He joins us every single Tuesday morning, and then again, obviously, he's a hangout regular on Thursdays, and he's the 2 guys and a goalie with myself, him and Matt Cassian will be live right here today at noon on Edmonton Sports Talk. Gager brought to you by your go-to source for Oilers Heritage Classic gear, from jerseys, hats, and everything in between. They've got you covered. Visit them in store on Sandburg Trail, 1 block north of Yellowhead, or online at proansports.ca. They have that Grant Fuhr signing as well. And when you submit your items to have Grant Fuhr sign them, the day that Fuhr's there, Gager's going to set up outside of Pro-Am, and he'll be signing things randomly for you on the way in and on the way out.
Fight.
He'll have that taken care of. Interesting. I mean, I'll ask you, watching right now in the nasty chat, make sure your autoplay's on. So we'll take you right over to the hangout here coming up. And if you're listening, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. How do you gauge success for Darnell Nurse this year? Like, what at the end of the year, you go, yes, good season for Darnell Nurse. I don't think it's going to be based on points. He's going to get limited power play time. Bouchard's going to be the 60 to 70 point blue liner. Maybe Nurse gets you 40, playing a lot of 5-on-5 with Connor McDavid. We'll see how the pairings sort out. So how are people? Let us know. I mean, this is why we're asking you. Nasty chat, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. What would be a good year for Darnell Nurse? How do you gauge that success?
Yes, and it could be a lazy answer, but for defensemen, right, and anything like hearing his name mentioned less and less in terms of coming in here the morning after and saying, "Oh, look at this fill in the blank action."
It doesn't matter if he had 2
Nurse.
points. We're just not talking about Nurse
Again. Yeah, as you mentioned, points go. The stats kind of go out the window. It's just playing a mistake-free type. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be evenings that happens for every player outside of 97. But to limit those. So much so over the years that we've seen, mistake here, mistake there, mental thing here, mental thing there, and people coming in the next day and getting on it and getting on him and then bringing up his contract and bringing up that again. And it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. By midseason, you're in this place where he's not mentally there and he's not playing up to his person. Just keeping things easy, keeping things in front of him. As you mentioned, I'm not looking at the point totals. I'm not looking at goals and stats and in terms of stars or anything like that. But keeping the mistakes to a limitation. I don't know what marker you would set on that in terms of number, but keeping and playing a mistake-free game, keeping things in front of him, mentioning him less and less will go a long way into having the season that he should be having.
780-218-9999. Guys, a good year for Nurse would be less than 5.5 belly slides across the front of the net. Ryan from Sask says, Darnell Nurse will have a successful season if there's improved traffic flow on Stony Plain Road, right? Because Nurse said he kind of gets blamed for everything in town. He's kind of taken on that role. But you know what? Somebody needs to take on that role, right? Like every team ever in any market has always had one guy who kind of gets unfairly criticized, even though it's somewhat fair at time, right? The old classic whipping boy. If Darnell Nurse can embrace that and realize that some haters are just going to hate, and not look at some of the good things that he does as well.
Is he not halfway there already, though? I think in terms of, I think he's kind of.
Yeah, I want Darnell Nurse to start rolling into games like Lucky Whitehead in like outfits.
Really live the role
and go from there. I think that would be pretty good.
Belly slide into the game right in the parking lot. Yeah, if that's the problem.
Guys, best case scenario for Nurse, if he's completely invisible, that's sad for $9 million.
Well. But if he's invisible and you're paying him $9 million and you win a cup.
Yeah, we say invisible because nobody, how often will you see somebody text in to a post-game show or a pre-game show, which we will have for every single Edmonton Oilers game, Tommy Gazzola and a rotating cast of analysts joining him to set you up for pre and post. How many times will somebody text in after a game and go, hey guys, 6 excellent defensive plays by so-and-so tonight? Like, think about Ekholm. How much are you texting in after a show and just being like, damn, that Ekholm, he's absolutely amazing. Single-handedly won them that game. Like, that's not what. Ekholm is steady. You're not going to get a ton of praise for steady, but you love steady. You're just not going to praise steady all the time. If Darnell Nurse can have an extremely steady season and is out there and you feel confident in him in the last 2 minutes, then I think you're really happy with his year.
The money's not changing, right? Like, we can kind of leave that as it is. Darnell Nurse goes full heel. Red is here for it at 780-218-9999.
Full heel. Yes.
Embrace the rule.
Pat Maroon's Bib says, Nurse finished 7th overall in D-zone giveaways. I don't want him in the top 20. I think that's fair as he faces elite competition every single night. So look after the puck. Successful season for Darnell Nurse is to look after the puck. All right, 780-218-9999. And YouTube Trev just rolled in. Tommy Gazzola's here. Fraze is here. Doug McLean's coming in for the hangout today as well. Let's get into the wrap for William Huff. They've been in the biz of making your company look great since 1972. Visit them at williamhuff.com. They wrap this wall. They wrap the wall out there. They wrap the hangout wall. And the wall wrap is a super easy way to make your place look really legit.
I actually might visit them for my own house.
What?
To wrap.
What are you going to get wrapped?
Well, I want one of those like forest.
So in the basement?
You're
Or?
like, I'm going to run it in the run of the wall. Like I want, because look, I want the real stuff.
So you want to get like a fake Jumanji going?
More so maybe like a boreal type of forest thing.
Okay.
But a forest. And I was going to do it my own, but
why would you do it on your own?
Well, you the bubble. This is, again, if you don't know about this game, and this is a well job.
Yeah.
Like, try
And
doing
this
this
is
on your own.
like-
Try. I mean, you'd be headaches, you'd be bubbles, and everything would be. So if you want it done right, you get them to do it. And I think with my little idea here of doing a forest in my basement, I might have to go to the pros. The dream team.
The dream team.
At
Get the
William
dream
Huff.
team over there to wrap
I
the
want
forest
dream
into the
team over
basement.
there. I just want to watch them go to the basement. But yes, I'll have you all over. We'll have a party in the forest or something.
That
like
would be kind of cool.
I
Just one wall or like several walls?
The basement goes into like this little square.
Yeah.
So-
I've been in your basement.
Yeah, so that'd be like a never-ending type of.
Right there.
Really add some depth to the whole thing. Yeah.
So somebody should. I know that you're thinking about this.
But you can't do
wrap
these
one
on
of your walls with one of those 3D pictures.
Dude.
And people come over and they're just standing there staring at your wall. Where'd you get that done? And when you finally your eyes click and you see it, it's the William Huff logo. Gotcha.
Well, if you have a kids' room, I mean, this is the stuff.
I
You
think
can't
that's
do
a
you
really
can't
good
do this
idea.
on your own. You can't. Oh, I
Like
want to do it on my own.
our kids'
Not a
walls are
chance.
painted. Marshall's painted blue. 'Cause he's a
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Elizabeth's painted pink. She's now.
That's
If that being
okay.
said, if they could choose their colors on their own now, we did that when they were babies.
Or a theme.
They would choose blue and pink still because it's their two favorite colors. But I think Marshall would also be like, you know what I like, Daddy? I'd like a Star Wars wrap.
Star
in my
Wars
room."
Galaxy.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
it's like you're standing on
Millennium
a
Falcon's coming in
starship
one
like,
way.
deck, and you.
Vader, like when you close the door, Vader's there. Every time you're like, ah. Anyway,
sure-
I don't think William Raff I don't think William. Did I call him William Rapp? I don't think William Huff and Bruce over there are in the business of wrapping kids' rooms. But you just never know.
They might know a guy.
There's
it's the
always
rap
room.
Game.
There's always room for
They
expansion.
lead
right?
the rap game. Yeah.
There's always room for expansion. All right, what'd you learn today? What'd you learn on the show today, buddy?
I mean, the Justin Jefferson stuff was kind of.
It's kind of fresh-ish.
It was like it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't happen during the show, but there were reports coming out to kind of solidify that report that we had heard. So I guess I'll go with that.
I kind of learned that. When we had that Riders discussion earlier, I was a little surprised that you were kind of giving the defense a little bit of a pass.
I'm not giving them.
The defense is awful.
Nobody gets a pass. But I
Don't
just
you think the defense is the number one issue for the Riders, though?
Well, right now they're giving up a lot of points.
They're giving up like
But
38 per game for the
as
last
far
8
as the
games.
whole season goes, and seasons have passed. I mean, I've been quite happy with this.
But even in their wins over the Riders and Bombers, they still allowed like 29 points.
Yeah, those are big games, and I mean I'll take that. I just the
I was
season
just
could
a
well
little
end
surprised. I thought you would have been like I was almost more infuriated about their defense than you. I thought
I'm
that
used
would
to
be
it now.
like
They're done. As I said, their season ended on Labor Day weekend, and that was it. They had their little Grey Cup game. Everybody was crying, and everybody hugged their kids and went home. That was it. So now they're just going through the motions. So you give a 50 points, 60, 70, who cares at this point?
You don't even care at this point.
They're losing. It's again, I understand Blue Jays fan now heading into the postseason. I was like, oh, no, you support your team. You're heading to the playoffs. This is great. This is magical. We're just killing time here. We're just biding time.
If they get into the playoffs, their path to the Grey Cup would be through the Lions.
Yeah, go
through the
out to
Bombers,
Vancouver, then into Winnipeg.
who they actually
Easy.
did beat back-to-back times this season. I just saying.
We're not doing this.
Don't
This
you
is an
want to have
exercise-
some sort of glimmer of hope for your own team, though?
This is exactly what I was saying about the Jays, and it's coming. Right
Yeah,
back
you
down
know
to
what,
me. I have to
actually-
eat this with a spoon.
Yeah. This is the exact way I felt about the Blue Jays, too. Right? Like, I guess I see where you're coming from.
And you had
I had no
highlights.
faith. And that Jays season ended, exactly like you thought it would end.
And you had your highlights, though. It wasn't a total
not as many as I'd like.
Sure.
But if this season ends kind of how you expect it to end, Jake Maier drops 35 on the Riders in a win on Friday night. And
also, you can argue, too, if the Jays say they go on for little Cinderella poses and say the Riders go, then what are you doing? You're awarding things to people who maybe should not be getting them moving forward. You gotta go. You gotta. It's done.
Hey, let's get to your text of the sound of the day. I wanted to get to this because it came in earlier. We didn't hit up the vault today, and somebody requested because the NHL season starts today. We get clip 9729, and we can do that for your sound of the day. So I'm going to load in clip 9729. We'll get to your text of the day for A&W right now, where if you roll in, you should probably try the new Chicken Cruncher sandwiches. 3 new Crunchtastic choices. Is that a word? Or did they just come up? Did A&W just invent Crunchtastic?
Get all 3.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Do your own blind taste test.
Nashville Hot Chicken Cruncher. I mean, I don't think this blind taste test would be pretty simple, I think. Nashville Hot Chicken Cruncher.
Okay.
Chubby Chicken Cruncher.
Yes.
And the BLT Chicken Cruncher. If you can't tell those 3 sandwiches apart, you're not allowed to listen to the show anymore.
You don't eat a lot of tomato. Like, you may not. You may be like, I don't know what's going on there. And then
I could tell by the weight of these
one's
3
got
things.
spice.
I don't even need to bite it. I'll just lift it up and be like, oh, that.
The Chubby Chicken's its own brand, you know.
Yeah. No, I think that would be relatively
Just buy all
easy.
3.
Text of the day today comes in from Danny Boy. And when you send in something in the nasty chat, if you want to send it over so it qualifies for text of the day, not a bad idea. And he got in today with Creed Cruise Day as opposed to Creed Tuesday. We were talking about the cruise. I thought that worked out extremely well. That'll be your text of the day for A&W. Danny Boy will get a swing by the office here and pick up his gift certificate, $20 to A&W. Go use that. Tell him the AM Nasty sent you. All right, boys, we've got a 97-26 and a 97-30. Which clip should we pick for sound of the day today? 97-30 or 97-26? We don't have a 97-29.
I'll go 30.
97-30? Okay, I'll get this locked in here. This comes in, I think Library Pat texted in the 97-29 request today, and we will roll with 97-30 for your sound of the day. Just a quick reset on the vault. What basically happened is we tracked down all of the old clips. The issue here is that none of them are labeled, so they're all just numbers. So we're basically playing vault roulette. Here we go. This is a 2-minute and 46-second clip. I don't know what this is. Let's take a listen. Sound of the day.
While I was in the wilderness, I wrote a song for Encarnacion.
What?
Shall I sing it for you?
Sure. Are you serious?
Encarnacion.
Encarnacion is 0 for 2 with a walk, and he hits a high deep drive, hooked into the corner, and this game is tied.
Edwin Encarnacion.
Wow. That is a Nielson Show Hall of Famer.
I knew we were getting the song. I wanted to wait till the call because depending on who it is and
yeah, you don't know what it was,
what moment and what game. But
well, that's pretty incredible.
Pretty important.
That's pretty incredible. What that's a huge one. Nice call, Library Pat. That'll be your sound of the day. Coming up, Maddie. One more time. What is on the hangout today?
Runner Will Fraser, broadcaster Doug McLean at Tom Gazzola will be by for runner Will Fraser.
Local runner Will Fraser will be in on it.
Gazzola will be by for a large chunk of the show before he heads off to Oiler practice. They skate at 11 before they head off to
Tommy, stand up for
Vancouver.
a sec. I want to see what you look like. Oh, I was expecting a little fancier for a rink day. Oh, do you hear phrase?
He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous.
He's all over him.
And Doug McLean. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I mentioned Doug.
Okay.
I mentioned Doug.
Hangout coming up here. Make sure autoplay is on. If you're watching on YouTube right now, just click that little button in the middle, autoplay. We will direct you straight on over into the Hangout, and then we'll direct you straight on back into the main studio here for the Lock Shop. Fantasy Football 5 around 11:50 this morning. 2 guys and a goalie. We'll continue to get you ready for the upcoming regular season in the National Hockey League and discussing that huge deal for the Winnipeg Jets to get both Scheifele and Hellebuck locked up. Congratulations to all of our Winnipeg folks who were watching this morning. Your future is secure. Nice little Tuesday show here. Hey, buddy. The fun
Yeah,
one?
it is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's our first short week /
That's
stat
true.
holiday observance, whatever you want to call it. So, yes.
No, it's nice. Good
We're
feel.
here.
Good feel to the show. All right, that's going to do it for Mr. Lean and Lieutenant Eric. I am Dustin Nielsen. Hangout is coming up here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We will talk to you tomorrow. Take it easy.